I moved back to my hometown. I was living with my grandpa, and there was a roundabout that probably took like 6 years for them to build, and then another 2 for people to learn how to properly drive in it. And I was like, I want to go run around that a bunch of times.
Did you get like a good approximate on what the distance around the roundabout is?
The total distance was like 36 miles.
Did you ever have to turn around during it and go the other way so that one of your legs wouldn't get more sore than the other?
So yeah, I was going the same way the whole time. I posted the Strava track on Reddit because I thought it was funny. And then people got really mad that I didn't switch direction. They were like, this is so bad for your leg. So I did it the second time going the other way.
Welcome to Backpacker Radio, presented by The Trek, brought to you by LMNT. I am your co-host, Zach Badger Davis. Sitting to my right is...
I am Juliana Chauncey, a.k.a. Chaunce.
All right, I know this is April 21st, but in reality, you just celebrated a birthday. How'd that go?
I am now 33. I feel very good about it.
Yeah?
3 is my favorite
number. I feel
number.
like you've handled prior birthdays not in stride as well.
Yes, but for this birthday, I'm on antidepressants.
Oh, there it is.
Everything is fine. Yeah, 3 is my favorite number. 33 is 2 3s. It's followed by 34, which is the number of my street, my house
Scottie
on my
Pippen.
street at home.
You're in your Scottie Pippen here.
And I'm a huge Scottie Pippen fan.
Yeah.
Jesus found enlightenment at 33, so why can't I?
Sure, fair, yeah.
He also, like, in theory, did die, but
theoretically
also found enlightenment.
Yeah.
So arguments on if you can
just
enlightenedly
pluck the positives out of that scenario, I'd say.
So yeah, feeling like it'll be a good one. I think I care less. I care less in general about everything. Again, antidepressants are great. But I think, like, as I age, I care less about everything, and that is good for, like, emotional well-being and self-esteem.
That is kind of the best part about getting older.
Yeah.
You give fewer fucks.
I feel my inner curmudgeon getting more curmudgeon-y, and I'm like, how do I nurture and stoke this fire?
Good. Leaning into it.
Yeah.
Well, happy belated.
Thank you.
A few reminders before we get to today's interview. This is going to be a fun one, I have a feeling. This is the first time we're calling it out, but check out the Trek's YouTube. We're now doing some consistent videos. I say that under the pretense that it will be happening by the time this comes out. But we've got Jess here in studio. I won't put her on quite yet. We're gonna do a dedicated episode with Jess here shortly. But we are working on the Trek's YouTube calendar. Jess has got some fun stuff up her sleeve, so please check that out. Next item is, if you enjoy this podcast, you want to support your favorite redheads, and you want this podcast ad-free, head on over to patreon.com/backpackerradio. Again, for as little as $5 per month, $1 per episode in those 5-week months, you get the podcast advertisement free. That's a pretty good deal. $1 per episode.
We should do the math for how many minutes of their lives they save listening to a year's worth of ad-free episodes.
Yeah.
And we can also just make up a number right now and pretend it's fact.
1,000 hours.
1,000 hours of ads in 52 episodes?
Or just...
We are going to save you 1,000 hours on ad listening.
You said to make up a number. I went for the gusto.
Figured it'd be believable, but yeah.
We could do a more accurate approximation. So let's say 5 minutes times 50 to 250 minutes probably.
Yeah, that's like a couple hours, give or take.
Yeah.
It's like an afternoon you could spend on something else.
Yeah. Plus you're supporting us.
Yeah.
And you're putting beer on the table. So thank you to you guys. Next thing is, if you're headed to AT Trail Days, swing by the Trek/Backpacker Radio's booth, because we'll be there.
We sure will. And we are going to have all the fun and chaos that we usually have. I think it will be our 4th annual watermelon thigh smashing, or 5th.
Did we do it the year that you hiked?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I feel like I would have been preoccupied with hiking more than planning chaos.
Yeah, you were a little bit more in the hiking element, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know if we even had an agenda anyways.
I remember we did the tramp stamps. We did the...
Tramp stamps?
Remember me and Jabba got matching glitter tattoos?
And you had
and I got a rash.
Yeah. Your tattoo said, "Did Zach?"
Yeah, and he put hike the AT, and then I realized that me on my own was sending some bad messaging out to the masses.
Yeah. That reminds me of the old 7-Up commercial, probably from the late 90s, where it was "Make 7-Up yours," but it was "Make 7" on the front part of the shirt, "Up yours" on the back. Classic. But yeah, if you're headed to Trail Days, swing by our booth and say hi. And if you've got somebody that we should have on the podcast, hit us up. Although I think our schedule is getting pretty booked as is, but always interested in hearing recommendations. Because even if it doesn't work at Trail Days, we want to make it work further down the road regardless.
Yes.
Last but not least, if you're taking a long-distance trek this year and you want to be featured on the baddest platform in the backcountry, apply to be a trek blogger. Okay, let's get to today's interview with... I'm going to let you do the intro because...
No, you have to read it.
Okay, I'm going to do the intro.
It's just funny.
Yeah. This is with Tate Pyro Dobson, who's a hiker, runner, and adventurer with a resume that's equal parts impressive, chaotic, and questionable. Tate has hiked the trails you're familiar with, like the PCT, AT, CT, and Sierra High Route, but has also added absurdity to his adventures. This includes running a marathon in a roundabout, apparently not as mind-numbing as you'd think, since he did this twice, through hiking with a tote bag instead of a backpack, and surviving the 100-mile wilderness on nothing but peanut butter and maple syrup. Pyro, thank you so much for joining us here on Backpacker Radio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Based on the little bit that I know about you so far, I'm guessing that there's probably a good story attached to Pyro.
Nah, not really.
Let's hear it.
Second day on the PCT the first time. I didn't know how to use my stove. I just made like a little fireball. And yeah, it just stuck from then. And then I never got a new one because every time I've started a new trail, I'm starting with people I already know that already call me that. Everybody where I'm living now in Durango calls me Pyro, even though, like, even people who aren't hikers, it's just the name that I use there.
Sure. I feel like single name trail names are a good way to go. They're a little stickier than some of the other options.
People there don't even question it. I was talking to some guy about the AT, and he asked me what my trail name was because I had already told him my name was Pyro.
Yeah.
I just assumed that was my actual name because people there just have fucking weird names.
Yeah. So you were letting snakes out of cages today?
No, I was killing snakes. It's St. Patrick's Day, so I went to a pet store. I tried to kill all their snakes.
Yeah.
I got kicked out. That's how it's been going.
I never know if what he says is serious.
I killed a few snakes before they, like, made me leave and threatened to call the police.
You did not kill snakes in a pet store today.
I didn't kill that many snakes.
You didn't kill any snakes in a pet store today.
Next question.
So how do you guys know each other?
So I worked at the summer camp in California. Dead broken record about that by this point. And Tate was a camper there. His mom was the camp nurse. And him and his brother were campers. And
did he stand out to you at all? Was it like, this guy is something else?
I feel like I talked to Emmett more than you.
Yeah, I didn't usually want to go to camp. I wanted to stay inside and play, like, Skyrim.
Yeah.
I didn't really like going outside until I was 18.
Okay.
But the one thing I remember about him is I feel like you were usually always covered in dirt. Like, you were always kind of dirty.
That might be true. It's remained true.
Yeah.
And how old were you at the summer camp?
Oh, I started working there in 2012 or 2013.
Or I'm like 11.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I watched him go from, like, sweet, innocent kid to, like, corrupt trail dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the question, is how did you keep in touch?
Like Instagram, I think. Facebook. I'm friends with his mom on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I had seen that he was going to do the PCT. And I was like, cool, another one to add to our long-distance hiking cult.
Yeah.
And he's been a Backpacker Radio before. He came and sat on an episode.
That's
So
right.
You've met him before, too.
Yeah. What episode was that?
I have no idea. I was just, like, traveling around in my car.
Yeah.
And I came to Denver because I didn't realize that Denver is not really actually a cool place to be. Yeah.
Don't tell the person that just moved here.
Welcome, Jess.
Yeah. And then I left and I went to Wyoming, which has more fun things to do.
Yeah. So no embarrassing stories from camp from either perspective?
Ooh, no, I don't think so. Not that I would blast, like, an 11-year-old for doing something embarrassing.
Making fun of kids is the best.
Yeah.
I don't really remember
Yeah.
that much of it, though.
Yeah.
Probably not the best trait of, like, a summer camp employee, though. You know, like,
Yeah.
an affinity for making fun of children.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you didn't actually get into the outdoors until you were 18. What was the onus there?
I don't know. I was going to a community college, and I had, like, basically 9 months between transferring from that school to a, like, university, and I had saved money all through high school because I was working a job, and then all I did was just fucking play video games in my room, so I wasn't spending any money. So I went and traveled around Southeast Asia for a while, tried to do the Everest Base Camp trek. That went poorly. And then I tried to hike the PCT, which also, it was good, but I didn't do the whole thing that year.
Yeah. So Everest Base Camp, that was your first hike?
Basically, yeah. I had been backpacking like with my mom as a kid, and then once I was like, I'm gonna do the PCT, she was like, we should probably go backpacking to make sure you kind of know how to do this.
Yeah.
You've hiked and stuff at the camp. That's like a very outdoorsy camp.
Yeah, but I mostly avoided doing the outdoor stuff. I went on a few hikes. I think I did one backpacking trip in the years that I would go there.
Can you opt out of stuff at camps like that?
If your mom's the nurse.
Well, you also like would sign up for like your activities
Yeah.
for the next day every day, so you can just like choose to do like all of the art stuff and the things that you don't have to do any kind of physical activity.
Yeah.
So I'm gathering from all of this so far that you have been a low effort person for
Yeah.
a majority of your teenage years.
Yeah,
Um,
I would still say to some extent, yes.
so we talked about before pressing record that you dropped out of college and you beat your brother because you also dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
What trajectory do you feel like you're on there that led to those decisions, and how did through hiking come into play in the aftermath?
Dropping out of high school is not quite accurate. I took a test and I just left and went to a community college. But
I don't know if I followed that one. You took a test?
it was like a GED while I was still in high school, and then I went to the community college nearby.
it.
So I was still in school. It was
So
just a
I'd
different
say
school.
you're
I
more
don't
like Doogie Howser. You
have a
graduated
high school
early.
diploma though.
Okay.
And then I just went and did like all of the desert of the PCT, skipped the Sierra because it was a high snow year in 19, and I had never really walked on snow before, and then did like all of NorCal, Oregon, left somewhere in Washington. I just took a bus home.
I want to back up and go back to Everest Base Camp because that's a interesting first hike to have. But you mentioned that you didn't complete that. What went wrong there?
I got altitude sickness.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I forget where it was at, somewhere up there. I was not drinking enough water in the middle of the night. I felt really dehydrated and I was starting to feel sick. I was having all these weird fever dreams, and then I didn't have any water with me. I threw up a ton. And then I don't know if you know how the toilets work there, but there's like a hole in the ground and then there's a bucket right next to it instead of toilet paper, and that's full of water. So I was like the middle of the night, kind of delirious, and I just drank the
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had like the iodine or whatever stuff.
Oh my god. They have those toilets in Thailand where I studied abroad. It's toilet water.
It's not toilet water.
It's toilet water. You pour yes.
So explain the system. So you poop in the hole and then you use that water to splash your bung?
No, you use that water. Well, yes, but also to like put it down the hole if there's no flush.
Yeah.
If there's
It's
no
like-
like plumbing.
There's
Yeah.
like a scooper, and you like scoop the water out and you clean yourself with it.
Yeah. Oh, was it not one of the ones where like you pour it in to flush it down too?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
So you scoop the water out of the bucket and just like let it run down your...
Use your hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
Very Skirka friendly place.
Yeah, sure. And so you drank that water.
Yeah. And then I went back down to the bottom and then I went home.
Yeah. How'd it go after drinking that water?
It was fine.
Yeah.
Like once I got down from altitude, I was doing fine. But
Yeah.
I just didn't have enough time to like acclimate and then go back up because it was kind of by the end of my trip. So I had a flight booked back to California.
You didn't get sick from the water?
No.
Wow.
Did you have
I-
access to other clean water?
Well, it was just that it was like the middle of the night and I was in
Yeah.
one of the tea houses and everything was shut down.
Uh-huh.
So not that I could find.
Yeah.
It was fine. I think I'm immune to Giardia. I don't have any proof of this, but
Yeah.
it just feels right.
Yeah. Do you not treat your water on trail?
Not always. I have a Sawyer, but if it looks clean and I don't want to filter it, then I don't. It's also usually probably broken because I'm just not good at preventing it from freezing.
Yeah. Yeah, one's all it takes. Okay. That is a fun EBC hike. So you gave us the quick version of the PCT. You said you got off in Washington?
Yeah, and I skipped all of the Sierra and some in NorCal.
Yeah. So what forced you off in Washington?
Just wasn't having fun anymore. There was nobody around to hike with. Didn't feel like finishing because I would still have a big chunk to go hike. Yeah, so I just decided to go home. I didn't really tell anybody I was leaving, and I just took a bus home and showed up at my mom's house.
She didn't know that you were showing up?
Nope.
Did you tell your trail fam?
They were all gone by that point.
Oh,
They had
okay.
all gotten off trail
Got it.
previous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he was hiking with a pretty like notorious group in terms of at least personalities the internet knows. I'm sure the listeners would know a couple of them.
Such
right?
as?
This was in 2019.
Oh, this wasn't the one you did with Quadzilla? and
No,
Heaps?
that was 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I take that back.
Yeah. So, broken record, but I hiked southbound on the PCT 2017. We should start making a drink game out of that. I feel like I talk about that more at this point.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers. And also a very high snow year. So I encountered a lot of northbounders who had skipped the Sierra or done like various versions of the hike. And I noticed that the spirit of most hikers, especially further north, was like pretty broken. I think a high snow year in the Sierra makes for a very challenging year for the hikers in general, just because it fractures groups so much.
Yeah.
And just like for a lot of people, I think breaking the continuous footstep thing can also be pretty disheartening.
I don't care about that.
You don't care about that?
No.
Yeah. Did you attempt this year at all?
That year, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I got off in Lone Pine, but I had just decided I wasn't going to try to go through. I had basically no experience hiking in the snow.
Yeah.
And it was just like big river crossings, lots of snow. Didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you go first.
I
You're probably
insist.
more on. Okay, fine. I'll tangent. One of the things that we were laughing at, like, before we started was just like the list of bullet points you provided for us was just like this hike fail, this hike fail. You
Yeah.
know, like you're very good at being self-deprecating and not taking any of that to heart. Whereas I feel like it would crush a lot of people to not complete a hike over and over. And even what was it that you just said that you were like, I didn't do that either.
I don't know.
I've just lost it. Oh, and the PCT.
is that I took skipping this year in stride?
No. It was I got it back. It was you asked if he cared about a continuous footpath, and he was
Yeah.
like, "No, I don't give a shit."
Yeah.
You know. So, in an environment where everyone is so not everyone, but a lot of people are so focused on a continuous footpath, so focused on no skipping, no flipping, so focused on it wasn't a full through hike. You technically didn't complete it. Tell me about your perspective of like being cool with the fails.
I mean, I enjoy being out there and hiking, and I don't really give a shit if it's in a continuous line or if I hitch around a section. On the AT, like, there's all those weird, angry old men who are obsessed with, the purism stuff, and I was intentionally just, like, taking alternative routes just to piss them off. Also, sometimes it's a lot easier to walk on a road than on the trail, and you get to actually see something other than trees.
Yeah. How were people monitoring you? Like, are you posting actively?
No, not really. Nobody actually cares.
Yeah. But, I mean, obviously you see that commentary. I feel like primarily Facebook groups is where
Oh, yeah.
a lot
I
of that-
love all the Facebook groups.
Yeah.
They're fucking just an awful thing to look at.
Yeah.
They're so terrible, but
Yeah.
it's
Do you
so
bait
much
people
fun.
in them?
No, I usually don't post. I usually just am entertained by
Yeah.
what's going on.
You have to be crazy to post in there because I feel like even if you have like a very neutral post, there's going to be 5% of people that are just going to tear you apart for no reason.
Have you seen, there's the PCT Uncensored group.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't
Highly
joined that
recommend.
one.
No, it is fun to.
Are you in that one?
I don't think this year's. I don't spend time on Facebook in general. Yeah.
I check Facebook Marketplace probably like 20 times a day.
Jess
so
and I were just
always
talking
see
about
it.
that. Facebook Marketplace is my exception.
Yeah, I miss Craigslist, but
Yeah.
Is
that's where
Craigslist not a thing anymore?
it's still a thing, but people don't post stuff for sale on it as much. Like, it's all on Facebook Marketplace now.
I think you find the weird stuff on Craigslist.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, so got off in Washington, but that didn't break your spirits, obviously. Did you, at that point, did you know that you still wanted to be hiker trash, or where was your head at?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I was just ready to be done with that at that point. And then I went and moved to Santa Cruz. I was going to school for a little bit, and then I dropped out because COVID, and I didn't want to go to school anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, what was it like being in college during COVID? Especially
Good question.
Yeah.
It was one semester of shitty online classes, and then I passed them all without ever listening to a single lecture. And then I was like, this is stupid, and then I left.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really worth spending money on that if that's the case.
Yeah. You can just lie about having a degree on your resume, and most people will not check.
I've never needed to show anyone my GPA, so I kind of agree with that.
It's a great point. As someone that's hired, I've never once looked into it. I'm going to go back and dig through Jess's resume. Try to find some inconsistencies.
Find out Jess never went to college.
Doesn't even speak English.
She just starts running.
Okay, so 2020, COVID, college sucks. Back on trail next year.
Yeah, I was like, I spent however many months just kind of bumming around in my car. It didn't look like that at the time.
Can you give some backstory on it didn't look like that?
Oh yeah, my car is all kind of, it's fucked up and it's covered in like graffiti and spray paint and stuff. I've gotten in multiple accidents and I just like fix it just to the minimum of it still being able to run. But it's a fantastic car. It's just so wonderful. It's going to hit 300,000 miles hopefully.
Where are you at now?
297.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
How are you going to celebrate?
I don't know. We'll,
Crash into something?
probably. Yeah.
Drive it off a cliff for the 300,000th mile.
Well, we did get to tag the car before the show. We
Yeah.
wrote with Sharpie, Backpacker 80 Hose.
Yeah.
And then we put our names. So.
Yeah. Do you ever get like remarks from the people at car shops being like, what the fuck, dude?
Not really.
Yeah.
People don't comment on it that much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't bring
I
it
guess it'd
into
be pretty
car shops
douchey to be
often
like,
because
your car sucks. Like,
you
that
can
would be a
fix
really douchey
things.
thing.
Anything that a mechanic would actually have to do, I probably just wouldn't pay for because it's not worth that much money.
Yeah.
And most things are pretty easy to just fix yourself.
Yeah.
Are you like known as a like known figure in Durango, driving around with that car and like this style and that name?
Maybe. I don't know. All of the like lifties at Purgatory, the resort there, know who I am, but it's because I've been making these stickers of fuck James Coleman.
Who's James Coleman?
This is the man who owns Purgatory. And I've just been handing them out to all the lifties and they really like it. He's done nothing to me, but I don't like him.
Does he have a reputation? Like, is Purgatory just overpriced, or what's the deal?
No, it's pretty cheap. It seems like he just kind of... I saw a sign on Christmas that like the lifties were saying they weren't getting any holiday pay, and that made me kind of mad. And
So I
I like making stickers, yeah.
Are you a lifty?
No, I don't work there at all.
Will you make a sticker for us?
Yeah,
you
what would
pay
you
for
put?
it?
Sure.
We do need a new sticker.
Yeah.
I've been designing stickers. Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
What do you think the sluttiest font is?
Definitely a sans serif. Button it up a little bit,
Okay.
guys.
I think there's I don't know the name of it, but there's one on Canva that's like fat bubble letters with like narrow ends of the letters, and it's like a little scriptish. See that on a lot of fun posts.
Okay. I feel like I have to disagree with the sans serif. I
Oh,
feel
yeah?
like Garamond or something italicized.
Okay.
It's a nice
That's the
way to go.
sluttiest?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would
I've been
agree.
asking people.
Yeah.
Helvetica is sans serif, but I feel like that's a really slutty one too.
Yeah. I just feel like a sans serif font is more likely to show the curves, if you know what I mean.
That's true. But there's more expression from the serifs.
Yeah.
But it can be in a sophisticated way, like wearing a
guess
dress
so.
to like a formal ball on the Titanic or something.
I feel like at least can we all agree on italicized though?
Yeah, certainly.
Good.
I'm with him. I think if it's got a serif, then it's like putting on too much jewelry or too much makeup. You can make it where it's like
Wait, is that slutty though?
you don't need to decorate it that. It could be.
You think makeup and jewelry is slutty?
No, I'm saying like if you go overboard with a lot of it.
Are you makeup shaming right now?
Yes, Zach, I am. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
I think that the sans serif is more like put together, buttoned up, clean looking.
Okay. I hear you. You heard. Okay.
Your
Let's get
feelings are valid.
Yeah. Colorado Trail. So at what point did you decide you want to get back onto the trail?
Two of the people I hiked the PCT with were hiking the Colorado Trail, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, you should come." I was up like climbing in Wyoming for a while, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." I was freaking about where to leave my car that whole time, and then like at the climbing spot I was at, I met some girl from Durango, and she's like, "Oh, you can just leave it at my house." So I drove down there, left the car, flew back up to Denver, and yeah, hiked the CT. It's a fun one. I really like the CT. I think it's way better than the John Muir Trail, which I haven't actually hiked, but I hiked the PCT section of it, and it's fine. My mom's doing it next
The
year
John
this
Muir?
year. No, the CT.
The CT? Oh,
yeah.
fun. Okay, so she'll be in Denver.
Yeah.
We've got to get her on.
Yeah. So explain that, because I think you're now the second person. Katie Jackson also agreed with you, but I feel like that is an unpopular opinion. I feel like most people would say that the John Muir Trail is like the premier 200-ish mile. I know obviously the distances are wildly different, but yeah, why do you think the CT is better?
I don't know, it might just be that I had a better experience in it. The year that I did do this year, like in 2022, it was fun, but it was just like there was no snow. There weren't any fires. It made for a really easy hiking, and obviously it's pretty, but I like there's more varied terrain and like views on the Colorado Trail. You can actually go into town and like spend time there and resupply, as opposed to, what you hike into like Bishop going over that pass, and then is it MTR and VVR or whatever. I never went to either of them, but I don't like them.
Do you think part of your opinion is because you have spent so much time in the High Sierra that it's more familiar to you, and Colorado is like more new?
I don't know. I haven't spent that much time in the High Sierra.
You've spent summers.
Oh, that's true. Does that count?
Yes.
Okay, well, I just hung out in the forest where the camp was. I didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but it's still like a similar smell. Like, I don't know.
It's possible, yeah.
We'll rule that out as a reason then.
The Colorado Trail is also just longer.
Yeah.
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 It's less structured too, because you don't have like the permits or like sections where you can't camp as much, where it's like really limited.
Yeah. Did it feel good? So you completed this trail.
Yeah.
Did it feel good to get a completion under your belt?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was like the terminus there is kind of anticlimactic, but
Yeah.
then my friend who I left my car at her house brought me to this diner it's the College Drive Cafe in Durango. Best diner I've ever been to. I ate there like 5 times before I left Durango, and then that's why I moved back.
For the diner?
Yeah.
What's the best dish?
A super spuds. It's just a bunch of like vegetables and potatoes, and then you drown it in like this coconut curry sauce that they have. It's basically the only thing I've ever eaten there.
Yeah. Are you vegetarian?
No.
Tell us some standout stories of the Colorado Trail, because I have a hard time believing you did 500 miles normally.
I feel like that was before I started doing a bunch of weird, stupid bullshit.
Where do you think your tipping point was?
PCT, like 22.
22? Is
Yeah.
that where you cracked?
I think so.
Okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, I feel like there wasn't anything that weird on the Colorado Trail.
Any notable experiences, stories?
I drank like that first little gas station that you stop at. I drank a half gallon of chocolate milk and had a giant greasy hamburger, and then I almost shit myself. And I was like in my tent feeling like I was about to shit myself, and then there was a bear wandering around our campsite, so we were like, oh, we should probably move. So we packed everything up and walked somewhere else and set up camp again, and it was terrible.
You're just pinching your cheeks the entire time?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any shit stories?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So it wasn't, the 100 Mile Wilderness was not, it wasn't the whole resupply. It was like I was hiking with people that were going a lot slower than me at the end, and they had sent a bucket, like the resupply thing, because it's not a wilderness at all. There's like a dozen roads that go through it. I don't know why they call it that. So they were like, oh, they let me add some food into the bucket because I was going to go slower and just stay with them. So I got 2 jars of peanut butter and a quart of maple syrup, and that was all I ate for the last like 3 days. No fiber.
How did you land on that? Like, I understand.
Well, it's Maine.
Okay.
That's the syrup place. Maybe it's Vermont, whatever.
And the peanut butter?
I like peanut butter, and it's cheap. Yeah, so we went to do Katahdin for sunrise. Got up nice and early, hiked up. And then, like the Knives Edge little traverse thing? I went out to do that. I left my backpack and everything. And within like 5 steps, I went from like, I'm fine to like, I am shitting myself right now. So I did, it was still early in the morning. There's nobody else up there, but I did what I've heard referred to as a mud falcon or a shit put, where you just shit on a rock and you throw it over the edge of a cliff.
That's not LNT.
It's not LNT, but I had no other option. And that is, I believe, the actual recommendation. They're like, don't try to dig a hole.
Do they not give you wag bags?
I mean, they don't give you wag bags. I should have had one, but I didn't.
Oh, I didn't know if they had, like, because on the JMT, when you go up Whitney, they have, like, a thing of wag bags.
Oh, I haven't seen any of
station.
those.
So when you're throwing your shit, are you just barehanding it like a monkey?
No, I threw the whole rock.
Yeah. Got it.
It was not particularly solid.
Yeah.
Kind of like soft serve consistency.
Yeah. How far did the rock and shit make it, do you think?
Not as far as I would have
Until
liked.
you heard a distant, ow.
No, it was,
Is that shit?
He called the shit poop.
Yeah, definitely tangent us with the shit story. Definitely follow Leave No Trace. But I've been in similar circumstances before. It's like, sometimes you get up the creek without a paddle. You just have to make the best of the bad situation.
And I mean, it was also like, if I had had my backpack, I could have found like a Ziploc bag to shit in or something.
Yeah.
But I left literally everything at the actual summit of Katahdin because I was like halfway down the knife's edge.
Yeah.
What'd you wipe your ass with?
A rock.
Okay, so finish the CT, almost shit your pants. Sierra High Route.
Yep. Not that much of it. I went with like a friend of mine from when I was a little kid, and then we didn't talk for like 10 years, and then we like randomly reconnected. And we like, met up in Fresno, drove out there, whatever. It starts with like I think it's like a 4,000 foot climb or something. It's like big uphill on the trail, and then it turns off kind of like on just a little deer trail or something. I was like 15 feet in front of him. I turned off. He kept going straight. Never saw him again. We were going to be sharing a tent, so he had the tent. I had no tent.
He didn't try to yell or anything?
He didn't realize that, like, neither of us realized we had been separated for like an hour.
Oh, I thought maybe he had just quit and didn't.
No, he just kept going on the same straight trail.
Yeah.
Were you both on the right trail, or were one of you no longer on the Sierra High Route?
He was no longer on the Sierra High Route because he just followed the actual trail where the Sierra High Route like changes to a little like side trail.
Did he realize eventually that he wasn't on it?
At some point, but it like not until way later.
Yeah, so what happens there?
So I just kept going, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Maybe I'll see him at some point. I was going to be cowboy camping as long as it wasn't raining anyway. I did have like an inReach I got specifically for that trip, but I was like, I got it as an SOS thing. I didn't give anybody the tracking information or like the phone number for it. So he at some point realized, went back down. Both of us were very sick the whole time because it was really smoky. So I don't know if it was the elevation or the smoke or something, but like basically every single night I threw up a bunch of bile and I could barely eat any food. I think that was the only night of my life that I've like been trying to sleep and just actually not slept a single minute.
You think that's from the smoke?
I don't know. I think I watched Surf's Up 3 times on my phone that night. Fantastic movie. Highly recommend anybody who hasn't seen it. No, I have it downloaded always.
Surf's Up. I don't know if I've seen that one.
It's the one with the penguins that have those orange eyebrows.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
The first one's good. The second one is really, really bad, but it's also worth watching.
Okay, so how does this work with you guys separated and him having the tent?
I just didn't have a tent, and that was fine. He went back down to his car. He called his mom from a payphone, who told my mom that I was lost out there. I had the inReach, but nobody could track me or anything. And then eventually, like, I just kept going, and I bailed into Bishop because we were originally going to make it to Mammoth. And then at that point, I was like, I'm just not going to keep hiking this anymore. So I hitched from Bishop back to Fresno, which took like 2 days and was bad.
Yeah.
Hitching on like major highways is definitely different.
Yeah. What was the first phone call or text that you sent out?
I don't remember. I think I got a bunch of texts and I called my mom and I was like, hey, I'm still alive. Don't worry. Like,
how did
I'm
she
fine.
react to that phone call?
She was pretty chill about it. She was like, yeah, I assumed you were fine.
That's funny. So what's the takeaway lesson from that one?
I don't know, plan things better.
Have you implemented that?
No.
I think it's time for a wheel spin.
Sure, let's do it.
It's on the other side. This is our wheel. We tried to introduce some fun this year.
This is not a very fun podcast until we got a wheel.
Yeah. So all we were basically saying is you were boring us. But if you'd like, you could take a spin.
All right. That's a nice sound to it.
This is a very Oreo-heavy board right now. Oh, but we got a shot.
All right.
Beer bitch.
Would you like whiskey or whiskey?
How about whiskey?
Okay.
Broken Top or Maker's Mark?
I don't know what the difference is.
Okay. Yeah, me either. One of them has backpacker radio on it, but I don't think Chance can reach that one.
Yeah, it's tall and brown for me.
Shit, I meant to bring shot glasses. You're going to have to just trust Chance's pour here.
Oh, shit.
I recently started infusing vodka with habanero peppers.
Sounds nice.
It Should be, but I put way too many in, and it's
Now it's
just
spicy.
absolutely fucking terrible to drink.
Yeah.
It's really fun to make
Might as
people
well
take
just
a
leave
shot
that
of
down
it.
here if we're all doing wheel spins.
Do you want one?
No, I'm saying if we're doing wheel spins, save you a reach. Are we all doing wheel spins? I just assumed
are
that
all
was the
doing
rule.
wheel spins,
Okay,
yes.
you're up.
But I really hope I don't live. It is a soothing sound. Ah! That just shocked my finger. What'd I get?
You got Oreo.
Yes. Safe.
I get a static shock every single time I get out of my car. I don't know why.
Oh, maybe you're electric.
Maybe.
That was a weak spin. Also Oreo. The whiskey gods are taking aim on Tate.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Back to it.
We got it here. We're not afraid to use it.
You can just call me Pyro.
Pyro.
Yeah.
Sorry. My bad. That's my bad.
No, it's
I
fine,
need to get
but
used to it.
You don't have
Oh,
to, but
shit.
it's the name that I use more these days.
You don't need to, but it's my given name, so can you please?
I am changing it for the C2T though.
The trail name, or you're permanently
The-
changing
the
your
trail
name?
name.
Oh, okay.
I've looked into permanently changing my legal name. It's so much work. I wanted to change it to Nathaniel because I like telling people that's what Tate is short for. And sometimes, a lot of times they do believe me, but it would be really funny to have an ID that does say that.
Nathaniel. I mean, I'm
What does
sure
it
it's,
entail? Because like maybe we could help.
It's just like a lot of work with, you have to change your name legally, which is already a decent amount of work. And then you have to like change it with your bank. I would have to get a new passport. I think I should just buy a fake ID that says that.
So you just want people to believe you that that's your name. You don't actually want that to be your name.
I think it would be funny if it was actually my name. But
Yeah. It's a lot of work.
yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it's worth the effort, to be honest.
I think it's easier if you get married.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do. Fuck. I'm gonna have to do all this shit this year.
Yeah. So what year was this crazy marathon that you did?
That was
Or the first one?
22.
Okay.
It was like after the PCT.
Okay. Well, then let's stay in order. Let's go to the PCT because you said this is the year where things start to get a little weird.
Yeah.
In
I
what
don't know.
way?
I just like went to hike again. That's what the year, like I hiked, I think like 300 miles with the Jansport. Just cause like I started with a hyperlight that I used to be really into gear. Like before I started hiking, I spent months just looking through like the ultralight subreddit and researching all the gear and all of that. And then the more I've hiked, the less I care about any of it.
Yeah. Actively revolting, going from a hyperlight to a Jansport.
Yeah. The frame fell out of the bottom of my hyperlight pack. So I just like bought a Jansport.
What size? Do they do literage?
I don't know.
with
I think so.
Jansports? Yeah.
It's in my car. I can show it to you.
Yeah. Okay, so you did 300 miles. Is it the 300 first miles of the southernmost miles?
No, I got it in what's that? The KOA is where I got delivered to, and then I had it till Kennedy Meadows, and then I was like, I have to carry a bear can. I do need a backpack that is able to do that, so
Yeah.
I bought some backpack at one of the stores there. It was the only one that had a hip belt that fit my waist.
Yeah. What's your current backpacking getup?
I have one that I made for the AT. I'm getting one from Exotico Packs.
Okay. I've never heard of that before.
Me neither.
It's a guy named Janice Joplin. He lives in Chama.
His name is Janice. Isn't that a? No, that's Jan.
No, it's like his show name. I don't know what his
Oh,
real
okay.
name is.
I was like, I think that's a famous person. Interesting.
Sorry for the eating noise, but I'm looking up these packs. I'm curious. These look nice.
Let's see. Oh, it's colorful.
Kind of Superior Wilderness Design Z. R.I.P. Is that?
Or what was the?
Are you getting the one with the mushroom print on the stretchy?
No, I'm getting
Mesh?
mostly pink. It's all just like custom. Like he has those listed, but he's just like, hey, what do you want it to look like?
Yeah.
So it's mostly pink, and then it's gonna have a picture of my friend's face printed on the mesh.
Which friend?
His name is Amos Emery Cohn, and that's gonna be my trail name for the C2T.
Does he know?
Yeah, he's paying me $100 to do it.
It's good advertising.
So wait, all we need to do is invest $150.
To one up him.
Yeah, to
Well,
take
this
that
is already
face
said.
spot.
I'm already getting the face printed. So
Okay. Any other weird shit from PCT 2022?
probably,
You met Quadzilla.
yeah.
You started hiking. Wait, who was in your trail family?
It was a friend that I met on the Colorado Trail. Actually, we started together, and then Heaps Squad, our friend Cal, guy named 60 who I the AT with also. And then later on we picked up more people, Santa and May Queen, and there were other people like in and out along the way.
So when did things start to get weird?
I feel like probably right around leaving the KOA, it was getting really, really hot because we started like end of May. So I think like 5 of us were hiking just like all night and then hanging out in the shade during the day. And it definitely makes you feel kind of crazy because it's hard to sleep when it's really hot, just like in the shade and it's really bright out. I remember the first or second day or something I knew Quad, I was just really impressed with his ability we were hanging out at this like a tiny shady patch next to a gas station, and he would just sleep for an hour, get up, eat like a whole frozen Salisbury dinner, go back to sleep for an hour and do it again. He probably ate like 5 of them.
It's a unique sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. What kind of fun stories do you have from that hike? What did you start doing after the KOA?
I mean, that was just like the lack of sleep made us all kind of crazy, which was fun. And that's the only reason. And then Quad left at like when we went into the Sierra because he just had to keep going.
Was he hiking at a ridiculous pace when you were with him?
Not really. He I know it'd be like 30s or something, low to mid 30s. He doesn't hike that fast. He was just like very consistent about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't remember everything.
All right, I'll get more
I have
recent
a bad
then.
memory.
How do the quads look in person? Because I've only ever seen them. We haven't. What?
We've met Quadzilla in person.
Where?
Trail days, maybe? We've seen this man in person.
I don't think so.
Have I never seen Quadzilla
Challenge
in person?
flag.
Shut up.
I think you have to spin. I don't think we've met him.
I need to know the end of
He's
his
been on
life.
the podcast
Can you text
twice.
him? Text him and ask him if he's ever met us in person.
I'm almost.
I think he's in Thailand, so it's like the middle of the night. He's
Yeah,
not going to
fair.
respond.
14 hours.
I think you
time
should
difference.
just pre-spin because it's going to accrue interest. If
Well, you could pre-spin as well. You owe me a spin from last game.
No, that's not right.
We proved it right.
No.
Well,
Okay, let's bring this up because you said that there was a day that the pandemic officially started.
yeah.
Which is an insane thing to say.
The country that we live in had marked it as a pandemic on a certain date.
No, I kind of agree with that. Like, there was a specific day that I woke up and I was like, oh, like everything is shut down. Before that, people were just like,
Yeah, they sent us
some
home.
people are getting sick.
Us office kids were sent home from work when it happened.
Yeah, but it was also a pandemic before that point.
Right.
Ask the people in Italy that were dying like en masse.
I never said it was. I never said it started on that day. I didn't say like the stuff in China happened that day. I'm just saying that in the U.S. we marked it on that day. Dude, I remember this so well. It came over. My mom started sending me all these articles about it being in Washington. And I was like, Mom, you're ridiculous. Washington's so far away from where I am in Denver. And then during my birthday week, everything got canceled. I got sent home from work. It was right after like something happened with Kobe and a helicopter. I'm not conceding on that one.
We'll review this one because I don't know if there's like a definitive line at the day that...
Google it.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I think that it was a very slow build up and then a massive storm. That
I could see how it would look that way when you work for yourself from home, but I assure you.
Do you think every office got shut down on the same day?
A lot of us got sent home from work within the same day or two.
Okay, what day did the pandemic start in the U.S.? The COVID-19 pandemic in the U.S. doesn't have a single start date, but key milestones included January 20th, the first confirmed U.S. case. March 11th, the World Health Organization officially declared COVID-19 a pandemic.
That was it. That was what I was referencing when I said March 11th. That was the last time we recorded.
You just ignored the first sentence of this?
No, but that was what I was pointing to, the WHO.
Okay, March 13th, the U.S. declared a national emergency.
There, that's
Those
it
are
too.
different dates.
That's the day before my birthday.
Those are different dates.
And I said it was between 2 days, March 11th, March 13th.
Now your answer is getting fuzzy because
No.
you're saying there was a specific date.
Yeah, there was. You just read 2 of them.
Now say that sentence back to me and try to...
There are 2 specific dates. It's like a bonus date.
Okay,
You got
so it was
2
either
there.
one date or it was 2 dates.
In the U.S., it was the 13th, but on the 11th, the WHO said it.
Chance, you're not even listening to yourself at this point. Those are two different dates, and you're saying that
Watson
there's a
says it in
single
his
date.
head. Jess, what do you think?
Can I have an Oreo?
She wants to abstain. I think you have to spin twice now.
I'm only spinning it if you spin, and I refuse to accept fault on this.
You have a tendency to not accept facts when presented to the...
I'm not going to say I'm wrong when I know I'm not. Remember, I care less.
Yeah, go ahead, spin.
You spin first because I don't believe
No,
you.
wait. First of all, you're spinning for the Quadzilla thing, which was just objectively incorrect.
What if I find out that I've met him in person?
Then I'll spin.
Twice.
Okay.
Yes. I swear I've met that man in person.
Oreo.
Yes.
Did you eat your first one?
I threw it at Jess.
Okay, you have to eat two now. These are not consequenceless wheel spins.
I did not eat it. I threw her a half-eaten Oreo.
Well, why was it not eaten previously?
I was working on it. Okay, anyway, back to the interview.
Yeah, where are we?
Oh, no, you have a turn.
I still don't think so, because you've only eaten one of your Oreo. You haven't even eaten an Oreo. You've lost 2 wheel spins. Okay, talk to me when you've eaten the second one, and I'll spin.
No.
Okay, PCT 2022. Yeah, how did it feel to go through this year for the first time?
It was fun. Yeah, I mean it's pretty there. There was like no snow. I was hiking in sandals that whole time, and it was never
Just
an
because you
issue.
could, or why?
Because I had bedrocks that I liked hiking in them.
Yeah.
I did the Colorado Trail in them too. And like then also your feet get like weird and fucked up and you can take cool pictures of them and you don't have to replace the shoes that often.
Yeah. What was the most disturbing thing that happened to your feet?
I have a picture. I can find it.
Yeah. We'd love to include it on the Instagram if that's a possibility.
It's I mean it was mostly just like I would kick something and then they would bleed and I would do nothing about it. So then the blood would all like dry and harden.
Kind of like the car.
Yeah. There's not that much blood on that car though.
That much.
Where would you say most of the blood is isolated?
Probably inside. Here.
Whoa.
Let me see.
I thought you were wearing socks.
No. It's like
No, I mean just based on the first image of the photo.
Oh yeah, there's also a cool picture somewhere where it's like I had wrapped Leuko
What do you
tape
mean?
around
That's
my foot.
oh Jesus.
And then I ripped it off and it ripped all the dirt off, so I had like a clean strip on my otherwise very dirty feet.
What is happening in that photo?
It's just like blood mixed with dirt and gravel.
Yeah, but it's like extrude. It doesn't look like a cut. It looks like
Well, it's all the blood dried and it like stuck all the pieces of gravel and dirt and stuff there.
yeah.
It kind of looks
looks-
like something growing on my foot. It's cool.
It definitely does look a lot like that.
It reminds me of one of the like zombie heads in The Last of Us.
Yeah, you can zoom out by the way. As it
No, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm scared of what it looks like zoomed out. Jesus. This is some dirty toes.
So no Injinjis?
Nah.
Any reason? You just like
I
the
just
photo
don't
op?
need them.
Yeah. So
I
did you
feel
do
like
the
that-
full trail in sandals?
No, they broke at some point, and then I think around Mammoth, I just like bought other shoes because they were cheaper than buying another pair of Bedrocks.
Yeah.
And I think like, I'm sure you can buy Bedrocks somewhere in Mammoth, but I didn't find where that was.
Sure.
And I found a pair of Timps that were like $50.
Got it. I was expecting you to say something like, I don't know, what's a ridiculous shoe, like a dress shoe or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Nice pair of loafers.
Yeah.
It's a good idea for the silly backpacking outfits.
Yeah. You still have an Oreo to go, by the way.
I have half an Oreo to go. I ate half of the one I threw at Jess.
I do
Is that
like
true?
the silly outfits.
What percentage of the Oreo did she eat?
I abstain.
Why would you throw a half
What do you
eaten
mean
Oreo at somebody?
Tell the truth, Jess.
It was a lot of Oreo left.
Jess! It's a half-eaten Oreo. I'm gonna eat a full one, but that's a bad start, Missy.
You know you're on her bad side when she calls you Missy.
That's Rachel energy you're giving
Yeah,
right there.
She's going to learn your middle name soon. Okay. What else? What other weird things?
Are we still on the PCT?
Yeah.
I don't know. We had to leave because all of Oregon was on fire, so we went and hiked the Oregon Coast Trail for a while.
Nice.
That was fun. It was it's a weird trail. It was kind of just like a vacation,
South to north, north to south?
south to north, which is the wrong way to do it because the prevailing winds are always going against you.
Yeah.
But it's really nice because like you go through town every single day and there's always a grocery outlet.
Yeah.
Which grocery outlet is the best store.
How much of the trail did you do?
Probably like half. I don't remember exactly. We just hiked for a while and then we went to trail days and hiked north from there.
Yeah.
And then at the end went back and like did Oregon southbound. And then we only made it to what's that place with the bakery?
Stehekin.
Yeah. So we made it there and then everything was
right.
on fire.
Yeah.
So I still haven't done Stehekin to the terminus.
Yeah, they had the makeshift terminus. Did they have it at that point?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I know some people who were like canoeing to somewhere in Canada. But no, we just took the ferry out.
Yeah.
And then did Oregon southbound.
You're obviously a very go with the flow guy, but were you disappointed at all that that's where it ended?
I mean, yeah, to some extent, but I was happy that I got to keep hiking. Like it wasn't officially like no more hiking anymore because we got to go do Oregon South and that was still fun. That's, I think, where Heaps left. Definitely our trail family kept kind of diminishing as we got farther and farther south.
Yeah.
But now it's just an opportunity to go hike that section again.
Sure,
Or
yeah.
just all of
Yeah.
Washington. Washington's fucking sick.
It's a great
Washington
perspective.
was good.
Yeah. So it was after the PCT where you do this first marathon?
Yeah.
And where does this idea come from?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny. There's like a roundabout, and I moved back to my hometown. I was living with my grandpa, and just working at some like outdoor retail shop. And there was a roundabout that probably took like 6 years for them to build, and then another 2 for people to learn how to properly drive in it. And I was like, I want to go run around that a bunch of times.
Did you get like a good approximate on what the distance around the roundabout is?
No.
Like one lap? No.
I like tracked it on Strava because I thought it was a funny Strava track.
Yeah.
And I think that said it was like the total distance was like 36 miles. It was like 0.02 or 0.05 or something. It's I would call it a medium-sized roundabout. It's not one of the tiny ones, but it's not big.
Yeah. Do you get dizzy doing this?
No. I don't. A friend of mine who did it texted me while she was doing it. She was like, "How did you avoid getting motion sickness?" I was like, I had no issue with that at all.
She was just running around it, or she was doing a full marathon?
Well, it was never a marathon. It was just 6 hours.
Okay.
That was always the goal.
Yeah. And you said it was 30-some miles?
That's what Strava said. I don't know if it's right or not. I was just tracking on my phone. I don't have a running
like
watch.
Not a marathon, but like an ultramarathon.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to turn around during it and go the other way so that one of your legs wouldn't get more sore than the other?
So no, I went the first time I went the same way the entire time because I was going like against traffic because I really like looking into people's cars and seeing what they look like. Side note, it fucking pisses me off so much when people have the tinted like windows on the side because then like when they're driving past me, I don't get to look at them.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going the same way the whole time. I posted the Strava track on Reddit because I thought it was funny. And then people got really mad that I didn't switch direction. They were like, "This is so bad for your legs." So I did it the second time going the other way.
That's why you did it the second time?
Yeah, and then also like I had other friends who were like, I had friends in Georgia who were running around another roundabout at the same time as me the second time I did it. And there was like some other woman who, it was the wife of some coworker of mine who he had like told me, he was like, "Oh, like my wife wants to know when you're going to do this again because she wants to come do it with you." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, whatever. Like she's not going to do that." And then I told him and she just like showed up at 6 a.m. and ran the whole thing with me.
Hey, should we do like our next hiker meetup as a roundabout run and just have everyone meet us at a roundabout and then also plan it in advance enough where we can have other listeners run their roundabouts and all start at the same time?
No.
Okay. Terrible idea on my part.
There's some
it's a funny story, but not something I want to partake in.
Yeah,
we have a lot of those on the podcast.
You stick to your Denver through hike.
I like listening to them. Yeah. A million times better and still bad.
A ton of people do it in Salt Lake City. There's some roundabout that has a giant whale like statue in it, and people will go run a marathon around that. I don't know if it's at all related to what I did.
So you the OG of this? Was this a thing prior to you running
Not
circles?
that I was aware of. I know
Okay.
Portland's got some like bike race around a roundabout, but that's like a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they're in the road and on bikes.
So how did Reddit react when you posted the second marathon?
I don't remember. Similarly, it was a lot of like, "Why the fuck are you doing this?"
Where do you post this? Which subreddit?
I think just like ultra running or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm sure you can go find it.
Did you feel an asymmetric pain afterward?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I was also like, I was living with my grandpa. I didn't tell him what I was doing. I was like, I'm just going to go on a run, because he didn't care about it. And then at some point, like, it got a weird amount of media attention. I don't know why people
Weren't you on
cared
the
so
news?
much. Yeah, I was on NPR.
Oh, shit.
And like my mom made some comment about it to him, and he still just had no idea.
How was it being on NPR?
It was fine. It was short. I thought it was a scam when they first like messaged me. And
How'd they reach out?
I think they just emailed me or something. I don't remember.
Was this like a local news blip, or was this like a syndicated show? Or
It was, I don't know what show it was, but I think it was like broadcast a lot of places. A friend of mine told me that he just like heard me on the radio, and he lived far away.
Oh, what's up?
That's so funny. Did you give them your real name, or did you say your name was Nathaniel?
I gave him my real name, which was a mistake. I absolutely should have done that. I've thought about it a lot.
Keeps you up at night?
Yeah.
All things considered, yeah, that's a big one.
Sure. All
One of my
things
biggest
considered.
regrets. Yeah.
The title of the article: A man ran 415 circles around a roundabout, a 36-mile ultramarathon. Yeah, I'm gonna read this.
Is by far not the worst stupid running thing that I've done, though.
Keep going.
Because, like, okay, do you know what a beer mile is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a beer mile with my mom at night at a middle school. I asked her to
I
do it
assume
with me.
you brought your mom because you needed someone to time you and.
No, she was
document-
running it too. I asked my mom to do it with me, and she thought it was like a real event. And I was like, no, we're just going to go do this. So one of her friends came as like the designated driver and the timer and stuff.
So are you doing a beer every lap around the track?
Yeah, so it's 4 beers, 4 laps. The official rules are that it has to be a 5% beer. My
And
mom...
There's some sort of a time cap.
No, it's just like you run it as fast as you can. It's like running a
Okay.
mile. If you throw up, you have to run an extra lap.
Yeah.
You can't be moving while you're chugging the beer. You can't shotgun it. You can't like alter the can in any way.
Yeah.
How'd your mom do?
She didn't finish her last beer. She made me drink it. She also, the official rules are that it has to be 5% alcohol. So she brought a bunch of IPAs that were like 7
Oh,
to
no.
9%.
What was your beer?
She got a 12-pack. So we
Okay.
were
You both
both
did
drinking
IPAs,
IPAs.
yeah.
Yeah. So I chugged 5 IPAs in like 10 minutes because she made me drink her last one.
So you did the mile in 10 minutes.
I did in like 8 minutes, and
Damn.
then I don't know. She ran the whole thing. She didn't drink all of them, and there were a bunch of like high schoolers that came around probably to smoke weed at the closed down school and were making fun of us.
How late at night were you doing this?
It's probably like 9 or something. I don't know.
Okay.
We went to like the public high school track, but they had a soccer game there, so that seemed way worse to be running on the track around a soccer game.
Chugging beers, yeah.
That's not the bad run though. This is leading into the. You know what a beer mile is, so now if you think about what a toothpaste and tequila mile would be.
Where does the toothpaste fit in?
Well, the toothpaste was, I was just making a joke to somebody. I think it was like my boss. I was like, I'm going to go do a toothpaste mile instead of a beer mile. And he's like, please don't do that.
What, you eat a tube of toothpaste every lap?
It was 1 tube of toothpaste for the whole
You
thing.
you're
You
actually
ate
like eating
Yeah.
the
And
toothpaste?
swallowed.
Yes.
Fluoride free?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I looked into it. Fluoride's like the only thing that would be an issue. It turns out that toothpaste is also a laxative, if you need to know that. And then my friend Ella was like, oh, we should do tequila too because of alliteration.
So you're doing a shot and a quarter tub of, or a quarter.
Yeah.
Which chases the other down?
I did shot and then toothpaste. I think Ella tried toothpaste and then shot, and it seemed a lot worse.
Neither seems good.
Neither is good.
How did that go?
Bad. It was really bad.
Did you throw up?
I didn't throw up. It was like I didn't have much in my stomach, and it all got like weird and gummed up in there. Definitely a lot of the toothpaste ended up just like on my body and foaming out everywhere.
What did your poop look like?
Liquid.
Brown?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you able to chase this with water, or is it just the tequila?
I mean, there's no official rules,
Yeah,
but,
but
I
your
didn't.
rules. Yeah. All right. How much worse is this compared to the beer mile?
So much worse.
Yeah.
Like the beer mile is mostly difficult from the volume and the carbonation. Like
Right.
it's not about the alcohol.
Yeah.
It's about like you are putting a lot of bubbly liquid into your stomach all at once.
A couple we this was a bet in our fantasy football group last year, and there was a time cap set, and I think 2 of the guys attempted it, and both threw up violently.
Wait, tequila and toothpaste?
No, the beer mile.
Oh.
I am pretty sure Ella and I are the only people who have ever done the tequila and toothpaste mile.
Yeah.
We did promise that we would never do it again because, like, I showed up at her house that morning, and neither of us wanted to do it, but we had both already agreed to it. I had, like, she was a weird person. She was the only person I told I was going to do the roundabout thing before I did it because everybody else would be like, why the fuck are you doing that? And I just knew that, like, I wanted to hold myself to the 6-hour mark because if it was just me, I might, make it to 3 and be like, okay, I just did that for 3 hours. That's fine. Nobody knows I was originally going for 6, but she would be really mean to me if I quit. But yeah, we agreed we would never do it again, but then she had a kid and she's now saying that when he's old enough, I have to do it with him.
Oh, jeez, pass the torch. Where does the inspiration for this stuff come from?
I don't know. I just have stupid, bad ideas and they get stuck in my head.
Do you have any cooking currently?
Yeah.
Can we hear one?
No.
Okay. You want to save it for when you're actually executing.
Yeah.
What was people watching like on the roundabout? What kind of good sights did you see into cars?
Oh, it was really fun. I mean, I had like friends driving through sometimes, and then like it was fun also because I was out there on a weekday. So there would be people who like were leaving to go do whatever. I think it was a weekday, maybe it was a weekend. I don't know. But they would like drive through and then come back hours later and see me again. And sometimes they would like roll their windows down and try to talk to me, but they had to keep driving. So it was just like very quick conversations.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about we talked about the jansport. Let's talk about the other impractical backpacks.
Oh yeah. Do you know what a can is? Like that's how it said. The Fjallraven, like it's like the sorority girl backpack.
I feel like I should.
They're very small and they just have like 1-inch webbing straps.
Oh yes, I have 2 of these.
Yeah, they're cool backpacks. They're not for backpacking.
I've got a really, really cute small one. It's very impractical.
Yeah. I like met somebody who worked for that company and I was like, I wanted to do a trip with one of those just because like the whole point of ultralight backpacking is to have your backpack be like physically small. It doesn't matter how much it weighs. It just needs to look small so people can like see it and be impressed and feel bad about how big their backpack is.
Yeah.
And that's a very small backpack, obviously. So I didn't want to buy it because it's like $100, but I was able to get a free one from somebody who worked there. So I I think it was just like 3 or 4 days in the Sawtooth wilderness in Idaho.
Yeah.
With just that.
How'd that go?
It went pretty well, and it wasn't going super far each day. I was just eating like candy and cake frosting and stuff.
I would think you'd still have too much
stoveless.
PTSD from the toothpaste to eat foods like cake frosting.
No, cake frosting is great.
Yeah.
It's food.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of cake frosting. The buttercream is the best one.
Yeah. Do you put it on anything or are you just eating it with a
I
spoon?
just eat it with a spoon.
Yeah.
I feel like you are Elf.
How far was the Sawtooth Wilderness hike?
I think it was like 80 miles or something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. So you're doing real distance.
Yeah, it was some distance. It wasn't like super, super far. It was basically, I was working as a rafting guide. It was probably closer to 60 actually.
Yeah.
I was working as a rafting guide and I just like was like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a couple days. And I just left and did that and then I came back.
I know that's not the busiest trail, but the people that you encountered, were you getting looks and remarks?
Way more people commented on the fact that I was hiking in sandals. I think maybe they thought I was just like out for a day hike because there are a lot of trailheads that you could get to those spots from.
Yeah.
But there also just weren't that many people out there.
That's funny that more people are commenting on the sandals, which is a thing that people do.
Yeah.
As opposed to that backpack, which is not a thing that at least backpackers do. What was in the pack?
Quilt, tent. I think I might have had I don't think I really had any layers. It was pretty warm out. And then food.
If you had to estimate the literage of that pack, what would you say?
Maybe 16. I don't know. I'm sure you could look it up.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, that's hilarious. And then the tote bag. When was the tote bag?
That was on the AT.
Okay, so we'll come up to that when we get there
Okay.
because we have the AT in 2023 to talk about still before we get to the budget one.
Oh, yeah. That was just a little section of the AT.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. It was my friends from the PCT were out hiking the AT. so they were going southbound. That was the year I was a raft guide, finished that up. And then I was told one of them that I was going to come meet them and do a section with them. And then the other two had no idea. So what I did was I bleached my eyebrows and I was clean shaven, which they weren't used to seeing. And I had a bit of a disguise. I should have done much, much more, but I just kind of showed up and pretended like I didn't know them.
How long did it take them to realize that it was you?
Like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have done so much better.
And when was this rim to rim to rim?
A couple months ago.
Okay.
It was like post AT.
Yeah. Should we keep that in the timeline, or should we?
Yeah, let's go to the TA, because the TA gave me some giggles too, because that's the one where you have the photo of just your head above the ground and the rest of you is like buried in mud. It looks like you are a victim of quicksand.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went out to New Zealand. I was like doing the work and holiday visa thing, but then I never got a job, which is not the ideal way to go, which is why I did the AT budget hike.
Did you have intentions of getting a job, or that you just wanted?
Yeah, no, I had the working holiday visa.
Yeah.
But then I just kept like fucking around and hiking and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just traveling, hitching around for a bit. I went and stayed with Heaps because she lived there. She's from there. And then I went and did Quad told me about some silent meditation retreat thing. And I was like, oh, this guy hikes fast. Maybe this will make me hike faster. So I went and did one of those.
You just said 10 minutes ago he doesn't even hike fast.
Okay, but he hikes far.
Yeah.
Yeah, went and did one of those.
How did that go?
Poorly.
How long was it?
10 days.
That's a long one.
Yeah.
That's a really long one.
I
Did
didn't
you
really know
last?
that there were different ones.
Yeah.
I did, but it was just because it was raining. Day 3, I was going to leave. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to be here. I had carpooled there with somebody. I was like, okay, I can just get my stuff and hitch away. But then it was raining really hard. So I was like, oh, I'll hitch away tomorrow. And then that went on for 4 days. And I was like, okay, it's basically over. I can just finish this.
Were you not into the mindset of it, or was it infuriating to have to not talk for that long? What was the reason you didn't like it?
I was just so bored. I'm apparently not good at not having some kind of stimulation, which I think it was good to do it, but there's a lot of times where you're in an area with everybody else meditating, and then there's times where it's you can be in your private quarters, which in this case I was just in my tent. But instead of meditating, I would just
watch Surf's Up.
No, you don't have your phone. So I had a bunch of floss, and I got really into the idea of rope and stuff, and I twisted all up into a big string, and then I tied one end to my big toe, and then I would pull it tighter and looser and try to play bass lines. So I got Seven Nation Army and Feel Good Inc.
You got that?
Those are the only two bass lines I know. Probably not super accurately, but enough that I could recognize it.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Picturing him in his tent playing a floss tied to his toe. That toe we saw a photo of.
That's how you get all the junk out.
Yeah.
10 days is insane. As someone that's done no days, that seems like a very uphill battle.
Yeah. It was hard.
You mentioned that you struggled with it because you were bored, which isn't that the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you feel any sense of clarity afterward? Were there any positive effects from it?
Yeah. I feel like it was, I overall enjoyed the experience. The food was really good too. It was much better than I thought it would be.
Yeah. How much does one of these things go for, out of curiosity?
It's all donation based.
Donation.
Yeah. But no, it was cool. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but it was an interesting experience. But I did that, and then I went to go start the TA, and I was going to do the whole thing. So I went up to the 90-mile beach, which is 60 miles, and did that in a day or a day and a half. And then I was just doing way too many miles, and I hurt my cuboid bone really bad.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, where's that bone?
A foot.
Okay.
I only know that because I talked to Blaze, if you know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been on.
Yeah, and she was like, yeah, this is what's fucked up with you. You need to rest. Yeah, so I went back to Wellington, which is the southernmost part of the North Island. It's where my friend lived, and I just hung out there for a while. And I was like, I'm just going to go hike the South Island because that's where all of the actual cool stuff is.
Yeah.
So I hiked southbound there for a while, and then Quad and some other friends of mine came, and they were hiking northbound. So I flipped down and hiked up north with them.
Would you recommend the TA?
Definitely the South Island. It's different than the other trails. Sometimes it's really cool. Sometimes it's really muddy. There's a lot of cool alternatives and other places you can just go hike. it's definitely not one worth like trying to follow the red line on. I mean, no trail is, but definitely not that one.
Yeah.
A lot of mud, which is fun.
Are there any specific alternates that you can call out that someone should look into if they're going to hike it?
Yeah, I just don't remember the name of
All
them.
right.
There's one around Queenstown where, like, instead of following the trail between Wanaka and Queenstown, it goes another way and you go up this, like, pass that it's so pretty, and I think it's like 4,000 or 5,000 feet of climbing in like 2 miles, which is just so much fun.
Yeah.
And then you get to the top and you're dead. It's great. I did that one 3 times because I like went and did it, and then I did it again when one of my friends showed up, and then did it again with Quad.
Were there any fun quirks to this hike? I feel like at this point you have to keep one-upping yourself, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like crawled into all that mud. That was nice.
I got to see this photo.
I've showed you this photo. It's just his head. The rest is under mud. I'll find it. Keep telling your story.
Yeah, I don't know if there were any specific just like strange quirks. But
Yeah.
it was just a fun time.
Do you think it's hard? Also, this is him on the arch at Amaquilla.
Oh yeah, I
Know
like
how you
climbing
get
on
up
top
there.
of things.
Um,
I got on the I don't know what it's called now, Klingman's Dome. There's like the top part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I got up there, so I was the highest hiker on the AT, and then some old man yelled at me.
On top of like the curved concrete structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
I imagine it's probably illegal.
There's no sign saying it's illegal.
Fair enough.
This just to give you an idea of like your captions are so funny. This is his mom holding beers, and the caption starts with, "Until DNA testing proves otherwise, this is the woman we currently believe to be my biological mother."
So you come by it naturally, is what it sounds like. Your mom's fun too.
Yeah, my mom's so much cooler than me. I was telling John, it's like, you should have her on this podcast.
Yeah. We've tried. She just hasn't been here. But if she's coming back and doing the Colorado Trail, you
Yeah.
can.
What's your favorite mom story?
I don't know. I'm not good at thinking of specific stories. She's just great.
Fair
She's
enough.
super cool. She came and did trail magic for us on the PCD, and like all of my friends love her so much. She brought like really, really good salad, and then she like went to some thrift store and bought a bunch of shirts and was just giving them out to hikers at trail days.
She's so nice.
So are you like laying down like in a bathtub, or are your feet just straight down below you?
I'm kind of like, I'm sitting.
Okay.
Is that the one from the TA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was around then that I was like, Zach, I think we should get him on. Guys.
It was really cold that day.
Yeah.
I packed out a whole bottle of wine in my smart water bottle, and I was just drinking it. I was like, I gotta get in the mud. And then I like got in there, and then I just waited for everybody I was hiking with to come and see me. So I was in there for a while.
How long do you think you were in there?
For like 20, 25 minutes. Maybe less.
Does
I
it
don't
start to
know.
warm up? Like, does your body heat warm up the mud?
No.
Just cold the entire time.
It was also raining.
Looking at your face and knowing that you might have sat there for a half hour before this was taken is like the best part about the photo.
What is the cleanup process like after that?
Right away, it was like wiping myself off with moss that was on all the trees.
Yeah.
This was like a section that was basically just mud for like 40 miles or something.
Yeah. So you were muddy already.
Yeah. So I was, I wiped myself off with all the moss and stuff. And then when we got to running water, I cleaned everything then.
Okay, just to give you another. Also, I had commented on this one, the third pick dead. Another example of the captions. Like he's like logging what he does on his trail, but in a very dry humor way. And like
You read me one
also
of the captions?
also very not believable. Like a lot of what he says is lies.
Yeah.
It's mostly technically true, just misleading.
God has forsaken me.
This is a good tie back because I know that you were blogging for the Trek for a minute.
I was a blogger for the Trek. That was mostly just lies, though.
I forgot who flagged me to it, but yeah. No,
Wait, tell that story. I haven't heard this one.
I kind of want Tate to tell it.
Yeah, so when I hiked the AT, I was a blogger for the Trek, and I think like the first post was I think they were all just complete lies.
I tend to remember it started off, it's at least seemed more sincere.
Yeah.
And then like.
The first one was about me being bitten by a bat in a shelter.
Yeah.
And then it all just kind of devolved into a story where I was turning into a vampire.
Someone emailed me like, you have to slap him on the wrist. And I think I emailed you being like, this is hilarious. which I'm sure probably took some of the fun out of it for him.
Yeah, I think I stopped after that.
Were you trying to fuck with the trek? Was that like part of the fun?
Yeah.
That is fun.
I'm like, I don't know if anybody was actually reading them. But
Yeah, so that's very much the way he writes.
Yeah.
This one with the mud. God has forsaken me. It is clear from the way that the accountant and the spy trade places on the M deal podium while I lose game after game. I am a Nobo again, a Nobo who learned to pole dance on the monument. My toiletry bag is gone. I thought perhaps I lost it, but after the second toothbrush goes missing, it is clear there is something more at play here. The tooth fairy is hunting me, stealing my dental hygiene supplies so that my teeth fall out for her to add to her collection. She also makes me leave my phone behind and fills water tanks with mouse poop. She's after Marvel too. Sometimes the trail is a trail. Other times the trail is neck-deep mud, a pipe full of bugs, shoulder-high tussocks, or a bull pasture. The menu of the day includes footwater ramen, peanut butter milk sludge, and, still to be served, filtered sock juice. Also a half-eaten cracker that I found on the ground. There's a lot of sheep, and I am a terrible shepherd. So it's like, all of his captions remind me of the person that's so deep into their thru hike that like they have clearly lost it.
Yeah.
they're all like references to specific things. They're
Yeah,
just
but
told
when
in
you-
a weird way.
When you don't know the references, like from me, the viewer perspective, I'm like, these are so funny.
Do you have the case of beer down there?
Yeah, you want one?
Yeah.
I'm ready for mine too. All right, let's all go.
The toothbrush thing is real though. I've lost so many toothbrushes on trail.
You think on trail or in town or what?
I don't know. They just keep vanishing, especially on the TA. When I started the AT, I forgot to bring a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Like I left my whole toiletry bag at.
Are they sawed down to be super small or?
No, that's fucking stupid. I don't get why people do that.
I think like to get it in one of those Fjallraven backpacks. Maybe.
Yeah, no. If you're good at backpacking, you should be able to do it with a full-size toothbrush.
You do have a lot of toothbrush like references.
Yeah, when I started the AT,
That's
I
what
forgot
I'm
to bring
looking
it.
at.
Yeah. So the second day, like the first day, I tried to brush my teeth with. I took a hair tie and I like wrapped it around a stick and I tried to do that and it didn't work very well.
Yeah.
So then the second day I found some or he was like out for a weekend and it was in a parking lot. He was getting into his shuttle back and I was like, hey, are you going to town? I had talked to him for like 5 minutes on the trail before and he was like, yeah. And I was like, can I have your toothbrush? And he was slightly weirded out by it, but he did give it to me.
This is how he wrote it in a caption. So
Yeah.
if you don't know like the actual story, each eyebrow holds about a teaspoon of sweat. Lost electrolytes are replaced by chugging Hikerbock soy sauce. My toiletry bag found its way out of my pack before starting, so I brushed my teeth with a hair tie. In the morning, I solicited a second-hand toothbrush from an overnight hiker in the parking lot. Oral-B and peppermint crest. Does it count as trail magic if you beg? Then it keeps going. So like it's like, yeah, you're right. It's loosely true, but like it's also so like poetically written and vague.
What was the first line? That each eyebrow holds approximately 1
Teaspoon of sweat.
That's funny.
So
Yeah, I wear contacts, but I can't do that on trail. And I was just kind of blind for the whole AT.
Yeah.
Because my prescription's not that bad, but I just couldn't wear glasses because they
Sure.
would just get covered in sweat.
Yeah. I think that's a tough trail to not see because lots of roots and rocks.
It's a fine trail to not see because there's nothing good to look at.
Yeah, let's talk about the AT. So, do you start the trail with Quadzilla?
Yeah. So I came back from New Zealand because I was originally planning on doing the CDT southbound that year. I went back to like my hometown because I was like, I can live with my grandpa. He doesn't charge me rent, and then I can just like work for a while and save up money, and I can save more money doing that than staying and working in New Zealand. So I had a job for like 3 weeks, and then I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Fuck this. And a bunch of my friends from the PCT were out. They were doing some Hayduk section. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go do that. Like, it doesn't matter that I don't have any money. That's fine. Went and did that. And then I was like, I don't know what to do. I went to Durango because a bunch of my friends from the PCT live in Durango now. And I just stayed with one of them for a little bit. And I was like, gonna move there and get a job there and stuff. And I was talking to Quad and he was like, yeah, I'm doing this like $1,000 budget AT hike. I was like, I have like $1,000 or
how
at least
convenient.
I can if I like sell a lot of my things. yeah, so I did that, and then I drove out to Georgia, picked him up from the airport. I was like, my friend 60, who I hiked the PCT with, he was gonna do the PCT last year again because like he left earlier and just wanted to go hike again, but he like didn't print out his permit, and then he just couldn't do it. So he was like, I'm gonna do the AT instead, and then he told me that he was gonna start like a week or so after us. And then as I was like 30 minutes away from the airport, and he texted me, it's like, hey, I'm at the Atlanta airport. So I picked them both up. We went and stayed with our friend's mom's at our friend's parents' house. And then they gave us a ride to the start.
So for someone who's not familiar and doesn't like go on YouTube too often, explain to us what the challenge was that you two were trying to accomplish.
I was just hike the AT spending less than $1,000 on trail. It wasn't necessarily for all the gear beforehand, but I know Quad bought a bunch of really cheap gear. He originally bought shoes from Temu that were called Hoke instead of Hoka, but he didn't hike in them at all because they were just like actually really, really bad. But he had these weird, I think they were La Sportiva shoes or something, and they ended up, it had a weird like plastic heel piece that ended up cutting into his heel, and then it got really infected, and he spent like 2 weeks in the hospital.
Is that when he got sepsis?
Yeah, I don't know if he technically had sepsis or not, but he had a serious infection spreading through his leg. I don't know if he wasn't in the hospital the whole time. He like went to the hospital and then he was off trail for a bit.
Yeah.
How did people respond to this challenge? Because you hear that through hiking is really expensive. You see people spending close to 10K on a hike these days. Was the people around you, were they amused? Were they in awe? What was the reception you were getting?
I mean, I don't know. There weren't that many hikers around, and I wasn't really telling people. I was just doing it because I was
guess how much
broke.
money I spent today.
Yeah.
It wasn't
I'm
a challenge. You were just living.
Yeah, I'm sure there was like some reaction on Quad's videos because he kept making them even after he stopped doing the budget. But it was great because hiking with him, he's a B-Knot. More people would come out and do trail magic for us.
A B-Knot?
A big name on trail.
I've never heard that abbreviation before.
I don't know if it's a real thing, but it's
I
an
like
important
it.
acronym. Yeah, I got a lot of great trail magic hiking with him. We started like May 20-something, so we basically didn't see anybody we didn't see that many hikers at least until pretty far north.
Okay.
There would be a few people here and there.
What kind of tips do you have for how you stayed within that budget?
Hike with a B-Knot is definitely up there. Not buying shoes helps a lot. I had one pair that I started with. I won a pair of shoes in like a beer mile contest. It wasn't a whole mile. It was 2 beers and running around a parking lot.
This is like an organized thing, or?
It was like the running company in my hometown is owned by this crazy guy who just has a bunch of money. They lose money whenever they do anything. But it was like an event before the Lake Sonoma 50.
And it was who could drink 2 beers the fastest and run around the parking lot?
Yeah. It was supposed to be a beer mile, but then it got cut short to that. And like I did it faster than anybody else. So they're like, you get a free pair of shoes as a gift.
What part of you thinks like goes into this and thinks like, man, I am made for this. Like this is what I've been training all these years for and I didn't even know. And what part of this is that it's a running place in your hometown and the guy probably knows you and like feels really bad and is doing something that you can easily win.
They announced all the prizes and stuff before I entered. So like they had decided on it. If I went and begged him, he probably would just give me free shoes anyway.
So did you have that moment of like, yes, all of these runs have been for this?
Not particularly.
Okay.
I mean, it was the second time I guess the third time I've done drinking and running. Yeah, I need to try it again to see what I can actually get as a beer mile time with normal, not IPAs.
Yeah. So, okay, so you did the AT with less than $1,000.
I ended up spending like $1,300.
Okay.
I sold some things while I was hiking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much of a sacrifice was it? Like, how do you recall how much you spent on the PCT?
A lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess back to Chauncey's question. In addition to hiking with a trail celebrity, do you have any other tips for how to make this happen on a budget?
Just don't spend that much time in towns. And like, I mean, I can hike pretty fast. like, I think we were out there for 3.5 months, including doing the long trail. So that the less time you spend on trail, definitely the less money you have to spend. And in the South, especially, like, I don't know, I wasn't staying in hostels that often. Definitely got a lot of trail magic, which was very helpful.
Yeah.
Just eat like shit. You can eat out of dumpsters. I remember, like, in Parisburg, I found so much hot chocolate milk in a dumpster there.
Hot chocolate milk?
Yeah, it's fine. And, like, it's a lot of calories in town right there.
And you didn't
Any
get
shit
sick?
stories after that? Yeah.
Milk's, like, really pasteurized. You're not going to get sick.
I beg to differ.
I think you're just lactose intolerant.
Probably. When you say you sold some things while on trail, did you sell things that you had at home while on trail, or did you sell things out of your pack?
I sold things that I had at home. I had, like, sent some ski gear into, like, some online place to sell it, which is probably not the best way to make the most money off of that. But, like, when that sold, I got some money. I think I might have had a buddy of mine sell a surfboard that was just at his house.
Okay, so you're not, like, giving someone your sleeping bag.
I don't know, that would have been cool. But I don't think anybody wanted my sleeping bag at that. So I've had the same quilt since I started hiking.
What is
quilt?
it?
It's the Enlightened Equipment something or other. I got it because it was hot pink, or, like, you could get it in hot
Yeah, I
pink.
got a hot pink one.
Nice.
Twin.
I need a new one. If anybody out there wants to send me a quilt, hit me up.
You can borrow mine.
Okay, nice. For the entire CDT.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah, no, on the AT near the end, like, I was shoving it into my backpack and my fingers just went through the fabric.
Oh, no.
It's usually a good sign that it's on this last leg.
Yeah.
So are you eating out of hiker boxes? Like,
Sometimes, yeah.
yeah.
Hiker boxes. I mean, a lot of the groceries are really cheap. I already don't eat good food when I hike. The Dollar General Pop-Tarts are like $1,000 calories and $1.25. Gets really sad eating them after a while. I had a toasted Pop-Tart for the first time in a long time recently. They're so much better.
What did a typical day of food look like? Like, you wake up till you go to sleep. What's the day's food look like for you?
Pop-Tarts, peanut butter, cake frosting's a good one. And then basically every single night it would be ramen and peanut butter and sometimes tuna.
What are you doing while Quadzilla is in the hospital for 2 weeks?
I just kept hiking. I was with other people. There was like a group of 4 of us. It was me, Quad, my friend 60, and then a guy named Dare that we picked up, who he was also like shooting for. The original plan was, I think, 100 days. We added the long trail on, so that added time, and then he finished within his time frame. We slowed down quite a bit in Maine just because it was fun.
Was it just you and Quadzilla going for the sub $1,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really just me. Quad just kept making videos and Instagram posts about it.
Yeah. But I mean, he was obviously sincere about it prior to getting, I'm sure, hit with a ridiculous hospital bill. Yeah.
I don't know. What he told me is that you should never pay any medical debts and you should just leave the country.
Now he's in Thailand.
Yep.
Is he coming back?
I don't know. We'll see.
So does he just skip up to where you guys are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he very much like, he went and did his whole calendar year bullshit. And then like for this whole hike, he was like, I just want to have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the craziest story from that hike that you can share with us?
I don't know. We did a lot of just like long overnight hikes. Just because, I don't know, it was hot, or like, there's a lot I probably shouldn't share on there.
Let's focus on LNT friendly stuff.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying not LNT, just.
You don't want to implicate somebody.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay. No safe stories.
I'm sure there are some. I'm not good at thinking of things.
You're on a podcast to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, I didn't prepare for it.
Okay. Okay. I guess we talked about the peanut butter and the maple syrup.
That's where I had a tote bag for like 200 miles of that trail because some company offered to, like, I don't know, I was an ambassador for them.
For a tote bag company?
No, it was Stio. It's like some outdoor company. I don't know.
They're a legit company.
Yeah. They sent me, it was like I don't know, it would be like a nice bag to go to the beach with.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna hike with this for a while because it'll be funny.
Because did they know your shtick? Did they know?
I don't know how they knew who I was or why they decided to message me.
Did they know that you were through hiking the AT?
I think so. I don't know.
They probably had like the lowest level marketing person. Just like
probably.
What
yeah.
pack would he like?
Yeah. I mean, it was just like hey, do you want to like make some Instagram posts for like a few $100s of gear from our website? And I was like, I want this bag and I'm gonna hike with it.
This is a grocery bag.
I don't recommend it. It's not comfortable.
Can you screenshot this?
This is how I heard about you.
Are you just carrying it like a normal?
No, I had it
purse?
like on my right shoulder, and then I would kind of like push it around to the back.
I imagine that it's got to create some weird like postural issues or
Shoulder
anything.
pain?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my shoulder did hurt the entire time I was carrying it.
You ever switch to the left?
No, I tried a few times, but it just felt wrong.
Is there any way to kind of get it in a backpacky shape if you like unzip it?
Stuff just falls out.
Yeah.
It doesn't zip closed.
I
They
want
just
to
have,
see.
like, a little
I want to
hook.
see the way that the sleeping pad was affixed to that. Was it just hanging? It was like half folded in, half out.
No, it was like on the side. I got some shot cord, and there were like,
Got it.
Webbing loops.
I mean, honestly, impressive that you're able to get everything in that.
Yeah. It's not like there's any food or water carries on the AT.
Yeah.
I guess I can tell you about my the half-gallon challenge plan
Yeah.
also. So I thought about this quite a bit. And I was like, the idea was, you eat ice cream for as long as you are happy doing it and like it feels good, and then you drink a bunch of hot sauce, and then your mouth hurts a lot, and you have to eat the ice cream to cool it down. I wouldn't recommend it. It mostly just made me feel really sick, but it did. I finished. I also tried melting it with my stove. Didn't work great.
That sounds like cheating.
I don't think it's cheating. You can't melt it. I think you can even wait for it to melt if you want. Like,
yeah.
The people who do it really, really fast, like it's partially melted.
That
I was
is
also
true.
eating it with my hands for a while to try to help it melt.
Okay.
What kind of hot sauce are you using? Like Tabasco or?
I don't know, it was something I got from Walmart. They have like the little like dollar hot sauce things.
Yeah.
It was pretty spicy. I got the hottest one I could find.
Yeah. You must have had the craziest shits after that.
No, I don't. That's not a thing for me. Like, spicy food does not affect how I poop.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned in Tron's case, you were suspecting that maybe she was lactose intolerant. I think everything exists on a scale because I feel like I can eat dairy and not have any issues. But after the half-gallon challenge, I took the nastiest dump of my entire life. So
I did nothing to be. I'm so lactose tolerant.
yeah, the most tolerant. What flavor ice cream?
I think I did the like dulce de leche and the peanut butter chocolate or something. It might have not been the right choice. The peanut butter one was kind of rough.
Yeah. For me personally, I did mint chocolate chip. I haven't been able to have it since.
Ooh.
Do you feel that way about whatever the chocolate
I
peanut
mean,
butter?
that brand of ice cream probably not, but it's like shitty ice cream anyway.
Yeah. All right.
But no, I think I could go eat it.
Okay. Good.
It was
I
also
didn't
like
attempt it.
it
Yeah.
had been so hot every single day, and then the one day we got there, it was like pretty cold and not very nice to eat ice cream.
Yeah. If you were going to tackle the half-gallon challenge again, it sounds like maybe hot sauce wouldn't be your move. Do you have?
I might still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
just for fun.
You
Yeah.
got hot sauce if you're feeling thirsty.
So you said you did the tote bag for 200 miles. At what point did you stop?
I don't remember. I don't know. I sent it home at some point, and I was thinking I could like keep bouncing it up, but I forgot that you can't bounce a box that you don't send to a post office. So I think I sent it to my grandpa's house, and I was like, oh wait, it's gone now. I don't want to try to get him to send it back to me.
Just go back to regular pack.
Yeah, because I had mailed my pack farther up north because I wasn't trying to do that for the whole trail. I just
Yeah.
wanted to do it for a little bit.
Yeah. You mentioned that you didn't get comments with the Fjallraven pack. You had to have been getting comments with that.
Not a ton, just because there were not really any hikers around.
At what point you had to have passed the bubble though, even starting in May? If you did it in, you said 3 months, 3.5.
Something like that. We like started to catch up to the bubble, I think, kind of right as we left to do the long trail.
Okay.
And then when we got back, it definitely felt pretty crowded.
Yeah. So you do the long trail continuous Nobo?
No, we flipped up to the northern terminus. So we got to that Town with the Colt.
Rutland.
Yeah, stayed with them. That was cool. And then a friend of ours came and picked us up and drove us. Like, we stayed at her house in Waterbury, Vermont for a night, and then went up to the northern terminus and hiked south from there. And then
did the Yellow Deli try to solicit you at all?
not really. I would have gone to their compound.
Yeah?
Yeah, could have been fun, but it just didn't work out.
I feel like you're the right person to ask.
What does that mean?
That he would say yes, just for a laugh.
Does seem like a yes.
I probably
man.
wouldn't join the cult.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think you would buy in, but I think like you would say yes and then like maybe play along for a while.
They're just like weird and uncomfortable to talk to. Like, I don't know, if they were cooler, I would be more down, but
Yeah.
I don't like them. Yeah, and then at some point, like, I had shoes that were falling apart on the long trail. So my friend Balsack, who's like the one who lives in Vermont, and she came and did like a little section of it with us, and then she gave me her topos that had like 500 miles on them, and that's what I wore the rest of the way to Katahdin.
Did you guys have the same shoe size?
Yeah.
Oh, that's convenient.
Balsack, I know Balsack, right? I think
Maybe.
she was a Trek person.
Is-
What's her non-trail name?
Jocelyn,
Yeah.
the unhinged hiker on Instagram.
Okay, I think it was very familiar. Okay, any fun stories between that and the peanut butter and maple syrup?
And we all like had different trail names for the long trail, which was fun. And then like, I think we all shaved down to just the mustache, which looked just so funny. Yeah, so I've had a couple different trail names. Like, Pyro's the main one on that trail. My name was Little Bitch. Quad really liked calling me that.
Do you get to pick your own trail name?
I think so, yeah, for the most part. I'm picking my trail name for the CDT also. It's
Yeah.
going to be Amos Emery Cone. I've been using, it's not really a trail name, but a fake name of Melissa Marks, because I've been sending like weird anonymous mail to a friend of mine and signing it with that name. He has no idea it's me, so whenever this comes out, that might be how he finds out.
Do you think he listens to the podcast?
I don't know, maybe. He's a hiker.
All right.
He's my buddy I'm doing the CDT with, and I'm making him do all of the planning.
Yeah. All right. He'll probably hear that.
I tried to find your hiker bio on the Trek, and there's no trace of you.
Oh, really?
Like,
you-
there's one article from the PCT, but it looks like someone named MC wrote it,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
not you.
my friend from the PCT.
Did you have a? Oh yeah, it's under Pyro.
Oh, is it not? I looked under his name.
Can I go to the bathroom real quick?
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
the
Where is
door
it?
code, I'll show you. Go out, and then next to the water fountain, and when you get towards the bank, it's right next to the water fountain, and the code is 5431.
I'm trying to find an excerpt from one of his blogs.
Okay, I'm searching Pyro
Here
now.
we go. I'm just going to read it. The trail continues. It winds. This is the beginning of the post. It winds back and forth, goes up and down. A day on trail is becoming the normal day, a standard against which all other days are measured. My legs are stronger, my feet calloused and leathery. The aches and blisters that define early days of hiking have been forgotten along the trail. But with this relief comes new struggles, the primary of which is hunger.
Where are you finding him? I can't find his profile at all.
Just Google Pyro the Trek.
I'm searching it on the Trek. You did not go that fast.
Oh, no, just
Uh-huh.
Google.
You can go downstairs, too. If you take the stairs downstairs, just follow the hall. You'll see a men's bathroom.
Just put that into Google.
Pyro the Trek.
Yeah. I am deeply hungry. The candy and noodles that are typical in my hiking diet no longer satisfy me. I crave little else than meat.
Look at his profile photo on the Trek. It's got vampire teeth.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes. Wait, keep going.
A juicy steak or burger in town is the only time I feel full, but even then it doesn't last long. I pack out all the beef jerky and sausage that Dollar General can provide. Tastes often change during a hike. When new hikers send a resupply to every town before starting, they are more often than not abandoned to the hiker box. Nuts are usually the first to go. They're healthy and calorically dense, but at some point it is difficult to stomach even a single almond. For me, it is garlic. After cooking spaghetti and pork with far too much garlic in a hostel, even the thought of it makes me sick. I can even taste the garlic powder in top ramen flavor packets. I think it may be time to research the carnivore-only diet. We're reading your blog. Yeah, there's more, but you get the gist.
He's got four posts. The first post is Appalachian Trail bat attack. Starting a second through hike comes with a lot of expectations. You expect some things to be the same as the first, but others to be different. ... Second post is hiding from the sun on the AT. Excessive ultraviolet radiation from the sun causes skin to wither, blister, and burn. I guess whatever tan I acquired on previous hikes is gone. Number 3 is called Trail Legs, Meat, Garlic, and Crosses. That's the one you just read from. And then the fourth one is an anemic hiker asks permission to walk into a bar.
Oh, I'm bummed that I ruined it. I shouldn't have said anything.
You shouldn't have messaged him. I'm also dying because I'm...
Yeah, it's a great picture.
Can you start writing these again? I think what I've learned through your captions is like you're actually a really good writer. Like I don't know if you give yourself credit for like things that you're actually good at, because I know you like to point out the fails a lot, but you are a good writer.
I do like writing, but I mostly just like writing ridiculous, stupid bullshit. You know, I carried those gold teeth on the whole AT though.
I thought those were
Oh,
photoshopped.
I thought for sure that was photoshopped.
Oh no, those are. It's like a shitty fake grill that I got for like $15 on the internet. I really want to get a real one. They're just expensive. So if there's any dentists / jewelers listening that want to make me some,
Fuck yeah.
Okay, should we go to rim to rim to rim?
Yeah.
You did the rim to rim to rim hike, eating nothing but Motts Fruit snacks.
yeah, I did that. I was giving my friend Cal a ride out to the AZT. I was like, okay, I'm here already. I might as well go run rim to rim to rim. I'd hiked it before over like 3 days.
What's the distance?
40 something.
And the
50?
elevation gain?
I don't know. Enough.
Enough.
But yeah, it was kind of terrible because it was like, I think it was October. It was some time that a lot of people are there. So it was so fucking crowded the entire way. But yeah, I really like Motts Fruit snacks. And I just wasn't really thinking about like, hey, I'm going to be gone for like 12 hours. I should maybe have something that's real food. So I just had a bunch of Motts Fruit snacks. It was,
Do you recall how many packets?
I think like 40 or something. I don't know. I bought like the big thing from Walmart.
Yeah.
And I just threw most of those in my little running vest. It was great for a while, and then going back up the south rim, I started bonking like really, really hard. But it was kind of a fun position because it's like, okay, I feel terrible. I have no energy. I don't want to move anymore, but I have to keep going. Otherwise, I'm just going to die here.
Yeah, it sounds like fun.
Yeah. That's like the great thing about long hiking or like long runs or something is you don't have a choice to quit.
Yeah. You have an SOS button.
I mean, I didn't then.
Yeah.
I don't pay for my InReach subscription anymore because it's expensive.
You're not going to bring it on the CDT?
I might. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Anything noteworty about that? Any fun stories besides just the fruit snacks?
My headlamp died almost immediately because it was like a shitty one that I got out of a hiker box on the AT. So I like started at like 4 a.m. And then I was walking in the dark for a little while.
I've heard that's a pretty steep descent as well.
Yeah, is that scary?
Yeah. It wasn't great. I just went kind of slow.
Did you do it in a day?
Yeah. And then it was like getting close-ish to when the sun was setting by the time I was finished. I still probably had like an hour before it set, but it was definitely like, okay, I have to make it to the top before it gets dark again.
Did you eat all 40 packets?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
What flavor?
Motts. Good. I think it's, I don't know, assorted fruit, I think.
Did that ruin it at all for you? Can you
No, I
eat
still
Motts?
love them.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Good.
They're so much better than Welch's. It's like Motts and Dots are also an incredible candy.
Yeah.
I really like putting them in the freezer.
Like the classic movie theater Dots. Yeah. Yeah. Dots are underrated. I agree with
They're
that.
so
I've
good.
never tried freezing them, but that sounds really good.
It's a great way to rip your fillings out.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. How are your teeth after all these teeth brush issues?
They seem okay. They don't hurt that often.
When's the last time you've been to a dentist?
Pre-COVID.
They don't hurt that often.
But like if they all fall out, then I can just get gold teeth, and that's really cool. So
Yeah. Okay, obviously you're hiking the CDT this year. You're not able to spill any of the beans on what fun things you got cooked up for that?
well, I mean, I'm
The
gonna
trail name.
Yeah,
obviously.
trail name's changing. I'm getting my friend's face printed on my pack.
Yeah.
I'm getting a bowl cut.
Shut up.
I'm thinking maybe like jorts and crop top for the outfit.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But in terms of the actual route and everything, I don't even really know where the CDT goes. I'm making my hiking partner plan absolutely everything, and I'm just going to follow him and make annoying comments.
Yeah. So you're obviously doing most of these hikes for very cheap, it sounds like. But are you working between hikes to help the bank?
I sell dime bags of gold medal flour to high school kids, and then I steal copper from construction sites, and that's how I've been funding most of my hikes.
Yep.
You could be telling the truth.
I am telling the truth. Why would I lie? I am banned from most construction sites and the Durango High School.
It's called a restraining order. It's a little bit different. Yeah. Sweet. Anything beyond the CDT that you got planned?
Not specifically. I mean, I want to keep hiking. I was looking at I feel like long distance ocean kayaking could be kind of cool. I don't really know anything about it, but it would be really cool to go kayak the whole Pacific coast, because then I could call it the Pacific Coast Traverse and shorten that to PCT just to be confusing. I've been looking at the Transcaucasian Trail.
What's that?
It goes through the Caucasus Mountains it's like Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia.
Oh.
I've actually heard really good things about that.
Really?
It seems really cool, and it would probably be pretty cheap.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, this will be fun. This is the sponsor question, the Stay Salty question, presented by today's title sponsor, LMNT. Use our URL, drinklmnt.com/trek for a free sample pack with your order. What is your hottest take in the world of backpacking or the outdoors at large?
I mean, I might have already shared this, but I think it's incredibly stupid to cut your toothbrush into little pieces. I feel like people should also just stop taking all of their hikes so seriously. It's a stupid, silly thing to be doing. There's better ways to get around. Right? Like when I hiked the Colorado Trail, I drove to Durango and then I flew back to Denver just to walk back to Durango. There's no reason to do that. So it's a stupid, silly thing. You might as well treat it like it is.
Beautifully said. Are there other elements of the UL culture that you take a special issue with?
Not particularly. I mean, I think I tend to stay pretty ultralight just because I'm too weak to carry heavy things, but people take it too seriously sometimes, or any actual amount of being mean about people having heavier packs is stupid. It's so much harder to climb up, especially the mountains on the AT with a giant heavy pack than with something that's little and ultralight.
Yeah.
But no, it's about size and, having it look small, not having it be light.
Yeah. So Steve sent you that tote bag for the AT. What's your dream sponsor for the CDT or beyond?
Ooh. I mean, it would be nice I do need actual new gear. So anybody who would send me nice gear, or Ballsack did say that she would send me all of her used shoes when she was done with them on the CDT, but it would be sick to have an actual shoe company. I really like Topos.
Do you think you'd fit in a women's 6.5?
I could try.
What
Right
size
over
are
there.
you?
I'm a men's 11, but I'll give it a shot.
No, I was going to see.
The amount of this episode that I've had my hand in my face like this.
Yeah. If you'd be willing to try a pair that's way too large, I've got a pair for you.
Ooh, what size?
They're 12s, but they're
I'll try it.
They're a little big on me. Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
Yeah.
Could probably make it work.
Yeah.
Most shoes, I don't know. I've used a lot of different shoes, and they tend to just kind of be okay. I feel like my feet are just good.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, no, it's really nice because I get blisters occasionally, but not very often anymore. Last time I think I had a really bad one. It was I was demoing some shoes at the local run club, and then I went surfing right after, and I hit a huge blister that popped, and then it got full of sand.
Oh.
It was so cool, and it was really satisfying, peeling it all away, and all the sand just falls out.
I feel like you have the right, not body physically, but the inside. You have the right stuff for this type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not you have guts, not you have courage, not,
I'm just not bothered by that many things.
No, you're not getting sick off of toilet water. You're not getting sick off of high quantities of milk. You're not getting blisters in ridiculous footwear. You're eating all these ridiculous food combos and just being fine.
Yeah, there's something
It's a
incredibly
superpower.
zen about the way you go about it.
I drank a bunch of green food coloring for St. Patrick's Day to be green on the inside, and that did make me very sick.
How have your peas been?
Green.
You're actually pissing green? By the way, Jess is dressed like that as a coincidence. All right. Well, Pyro, you're a very funny guy. Thank you for joining us here on Backpacker Radio.
Yeah, for sure.
To the Trek propaganda portion of today's show. This one by, of course, Katie Jackson. 33 bucket list hikes you can do in a long weekend. I'll just flag a few that she's got here. I'm going to add my own that's not in the article that I really enjoyed. Lost Coast Trail, which I shouldn't even publicize this because I want to do this so bad, but apparently the permits are incredibly competitive for this one.
The Lost Coast Trail?
Yeah. It's
Why?
short. It's short, but it's like pristine coastal trail in California. And I've heard just amazing things about it. Four Pass Loop. Did you apply for one? Probably my favorite weekend-ish hike in Colorado, but that's low-hanging fruit. But it's very cool. The Alice Toxaway Loop. Couldn't tell you anything about that. And the one that I want to add is the Lost Creek Wilderness Loop. And I'm calling this out because you go through the Lost Creek Wilderness on the Colorado Trail, but you see precisely the most boring part of it. People can't wait to get through the Lost Creek Wilderness. There's much better terrain to the south of that part of the wilderness, and this hike is a good way to experience that. So I think actually a post that I wrote ranks first for that, if you guys want to get some original Zach pictures, which is not inflating my tires because it's not that popular of a trail, but yeah, I highly encourage you to check that one out. Okay, question of the day. Would you rather never get blisters again but have to hike in Crocs, or always have the best gear but get a new blister every day? This one is incredibly easy for me.
It's so easy because it's not the best gear if you're getting a blister every day.
Let's just say everything other than your footwear is the best gear, because obviously I agree with you
But
on
couldn't that still be the case except you're wearing Crocs?
I mean, I think hypothetically speaking, you could have the best gear of all time, and if your footwear is wrong, you'd still could cause problems.
I feel like hiking in Crocs sounds great.
I've done it. I feel like most people who have had blister problems have done that or something similar at some point in their backpacking journey.
Well, I'm thinking more of the fact, like, the difference in this question of the day is the shoe type, not the pack type. So you could still have the same contents in your pack, right?
I think the premise is that you have like the most state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line, fanciest ultralight gear and everything, but you're getting blisters on your feet. Or you have whatever gear, you have to hike in Crocs, but your feet are essentially invincible.
Yeah, Crocs all the way.
Yeah.
Doesn't not getting blisters like completely... That's the only issue that hiking in Crocs would create.
No, I could see if you're doing like the PCT in a snow year, you could get frostbite.
I guess so. You could just wear like neoprene socks though.
Yeah. Okay, well.
I hiked like 5 miles just in my socks because I didn't like my shoes and it was fine.
In
Also,
snow?
no, it wasn't in snow, but that's a great way to, like, if you have darn tough socks that you want to replace but don't have a hole in them yet, just hike in them for a while. You'll get a hole.
Yeah. I legitimately have done like probably 30 miles of the AT in Crocs because the trail runners that I had disintegrated like day 2 that I got them. And yeah, it was annoying, but it was fine. Like I was so relieved that I wasn't wearing shoes that were exacerbating my blisters that I didn't care. So yeah, I've lived it. Okay. Triple crown of stupid word spellings.
I already know mine aren't going to be the funniest based on the tips that we've gotten for other answers. But my first one is Q.
Yep.
Queue.
Mm-hmm.
That is silly.
Yeah. Yes. You don't need the extra part at the end there.
You could just put the letter Q. That's the whole word.
Yeah.
So who was like, well, it needs a U and an E and then another U and an E?
I can get on board with the first UE.
Yeah, same.
The second one is, are we drunk?
Or we could just like have it spelled like cue ball where it's CUE or
Yeah.
take a cue.
Yeah. Cue the music.
Yeah.
Is it England where they call a line a queue?
Yeah. That is what a queue. That's what a queue is.
I know.
Q-U-E-U-E.
But they call a line a queue. They don't call it the line. They
Yeah,
call it
it's the queue.
Yeah.
Because you're queuing up.
Yeah. My first one is... This one doesn't make any sense. Colonel.
Oh, like a kernel of corn or a
No.
colonel in the army?
Yeah, a military colonel.
How do you spell it?
I'm looking at it. So
C-O-L-O-N-I-A-L?
no. Close. The C-O-L-O-N-E-L.
Yeah, I had the O-N too. I had the colon.
Yeah. Just got a little wild at the end there, but yeah. That one's aggravating because like there's other things here like with Q. At least you can kind of understand how they got there. I understand that this has like French origin, so it's not our word, but
French words shouldn't be allowed in
yeah,
English.
let's just get our own word for it, one that is phonetic and makes sense.
Yes, I like that. Tate?
I'm gonna go with
Pyro?
Zach, spelled with a H, Z-A-C-H. Just use a K.
Yeah, Zachery especially.
Yeah.
Extra offensive.
Are you someone who gets really offended when people spell your name with a K?
No, because I get it most of the time. Like if you go to Starbucks, that is the assumption.
Yeah.
That it's C-A-C-K.
You
Well-
sent me an email full of profanities the one time I did that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you,
I said a lot
We
of
settled
other
out
things in that email too. So.
yeah, we settled out of court, so you can't actually talk about it.
Well, Garrett gets really offended when someone doesn't use 2 R's and 2 T's in his name. Like, he feels superior to Garrett's that are with 1 R or 1 T. Or, God forbid,
is
1
the-
R and 1 T.
Yeah, what is the most common version of Garrett?
I think the way he would phrase it is the right way.
Okay.
The right way would be Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the wrong way, which is either Garrett or Garret or Garret. Or, God forbid, there was one that was like some sports player on the TV that was like spelled Gerret.
Okay.
Didn't even have an A in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was wondering if when people spell it Z-A-K, if you get upset.
If it happened infrequently, I think there'd be. It's funny. The mailbag is actually Z-A-C-K. I'm scrolling down a little bit. Someone calls me Zach with a K. You get 2.
I'll go with Lyme's disease. I don't like the Y. I know it's like named after the guy who invented it, but I want it to be spelled with an I, like the fruit.
Yeah. It'd be bad branding for limes, but you know.
They don't need branding. They're so good.
Big Lime actually changed the name of the town. I guess it's me, huh?
Yeah, it is you.
Hygiene.
That one's not really that weird. Hygiene.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Why?
To get to Gene, Giene, come on. If you're going to call out Q, that's the fastest way to get to Gene.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm sorry, what is that word?
Yeah, exactly. I've heard it before. What is the meaning? Can you use it in a
unfamiliar.
sentence?
Rings a distant bell. This is... God, there's so many. Phlegm. When I'm feeling phlegmy after I've had some lactose. There's an easy way to spell it, which would just be F-L-E-M. But no, instead we go P-H-L-E-G-M.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I feel like phlegm is almost an onomatopoeia too.
Phlegm.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Oh, my next one. I'm going to go with a I've got some honorable mentions. I'm gonna go with my favorite word to use in Hangman, which tells you what kind of little shit kid I was, and that is syzygy. And it's spelled S-Y-Z-Y-G-Y. There's no vowels.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. But it's a word. Let me look it up. Syzygy. I can't even spell it.
So is this a word that you've ever used outside of the context of hangman?
No, never in a sentence.
All
Just
right.
specifically in hangman, and people don't believe you that it's a real word. And
Yeah.
then you say look it up and
Okay.
look like a dick. It's
Are you the
a
person that uses like QI in Scrabble?
yeah. It's a great one to use.
I had a feeling you were that person.
QAT is another great Scrabble word. Syzygy is a conjunction or opposition, especially of the moon with the sun. Like even when I read the description, I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a fake
The
word.
planets were aligned in Syzygy.
Do you think B dot would fly in Scrabble?
No.
Was that the acronym?
Be not.
Be not.
Yes.
No, but I think that we can add that to our hiker vocab. We haven't gotten a new hiker vocab word in like a long time.
Yeah. No, we're long overdue.
Yeah. So,
I use that word constantly.
what are other ones that we may have? Actually, not yet. Your turn.
My last one, and I have no honorable mentions because I want to be done with this, is this is one I spell incorrectly a lot, and I eventually just have to use the voice to text to get there because I can't get close enough for autocorrect to even get me there, is bureau.
Bureau.
Yeah.
Yes. 6th grade spelling bee champ. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Your last one.
A lot of the states on the East Coast, like Massachusetts, Connecticut, they just add stupid letters in there for no reason. You don't say them.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'll say I lived in, this isn't the East Coast, but I lived in Cincinnati for a year, and I still have to put like a lot of thought into if it's 2 N's or 2 T's. Well, technically there's more than 2 N's, but because there's the sin, and then there's the sin, and then there's Natty. But
Is it 2 N's up front?
no, I think it's CINNATI. And I lived here for a year. Cincinnati.
you're
Yes, got it right.
Yeah.
But that one, man, that's hard.
Yeah.
So I feel you on that.
Good. Are we done with this?
Yeah, let's throw it into the abyss.
I've got a quick ad read that I have to do.
Yeah.
This episode of Backpacker Radio is brought to you by Caleb Schwarzentrooper. He is a B-Knot. He's broken multiple FKTs, and ladies, he's single. So if you want to hit him up, his Instagram is calwalksometimes, and his phone number is 859-334-0741.
Is that his real phone number?
Not touching that.
This is Backpacker Radio history. It's our first impromptu
Yeah.
ad read.
Yeah. Text him.
Yeah. You know how I said that if you're a Patreon, you get to avoid the ads? Sorry, you guys got that one. We lied. Mailbag.
Is the mailbag and the poop story all in one? Or is it mailbag followed by poop story?
I think it's all one.
Okay. Hi, Zach and Chance. I enjoy listening. Keep up the good work. Then I'm assuming this... Oh, yeah, this is part of the same email. It says poop story. I wear shorts while hiking and have a zippered pocket on the side to keep my phone in. I got in the habit of pulling my phone out of the pocket and setting it aside when taking care of business. I do this because the phone pinches my leg and is very uncomfortable while executing the squat. I am in the bidet camp. On the occasion when a dollop does not succumb to gravity, I have to stick a rock hand. I have a sticker rock handy to remove the obstruction before the washdown. Butts clean, hands washed, poop kit is put away. I go to grab the phone and there is a glob of shit on it. Oh no. I pick up the phone and look at what I had done. It must have been a bit aggressive during the dollop removal. What should I do? Find something to wipe it off with. Remember, no TP. I decide to give the phone a good hard flick of the wrist. That could go either way, but it turns out that the most of the issue is taken care of, but in the grooves, crevices, and slots of texture on the case is a penetrating residue remains. All my bidet water is gone to rinse the offense off with. In the end, I get back to my pack, refill the bidet, and the issue is resolved. In the back of my mind for a while, I subconsciously could smell shit when I used the phone. Let me know if you know this one. You know what a Gordie is in hockey? It is named after Gordie Howe. If you get a goal, an assist, and get in a fight in the same game, that is a Gordie. In hiking, if you take a shit in a cat hole, pit toilet, and a regular flushing toilet in one day, you have accomplished a Gordy. P.S. I do not know what you call it if you shit your pants on the same day you accomplish a Gordy. I am also hiking in Europe this year. I will be hiking the northern third of the Ireland Way. Ferry to Scotland and hike up the southern Upland Way. Ferry to the Netherlands, visit a PCT hiking partner, zip down to France, and hike the first section of the Hexatrack. Finally, down the Walker Hot Route, OAT, I learned Walker Oat Route. I learned how to pronounce hot from your show. Oat from your show. From Chamonix, fuck's sake, all these words, to Zermatt. Off to Vienna to visit another hiking partner, and the two of us will visit Munich for Oktoberfest. Overall, a bit over 1,000 miles. If nothing unforeseen happens and I finish the above itinerary and you are scraping the bottom of the barrel looking for guests on your podcast, let me know. As mentioned above, I have hiked the PCT 2023 and the Tahoe Rim Trail 2022. Regards from Todd, a.k.a. GU.
Thanks, Todd. That was awesome.
Thanks, Todd.
Quadpoople.
Sure.
He's looking for a name. Quadpoople.
Yeah.
It's not like a hockey reference, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's the best I could do on the spot.
I feel ashamed that I didn't know the hockey reference as an aspiring no, this is a skiing sweater, as a hockey fan.
Yeah.
I had to give
Are you a real
definitions.
hockey fan, or are you just a...
I'm
hockey fan
I'm a
by
wag.
association?
Do you know the term wag? Here's
No.
another abbreviation. I'm a beer league wag, which
Okay.
is a beer league wife and girlfriend. So the girls that sit and watch were wags.
I'm glad that wasn't like a spin-off of WAP.
No, I'm not a what I was supposed to be.
I was thinking more like wag bag,
Oh,
Yeah.
or a bag that you take a shit
Bag
in.
that you put your wife in.
Your shitty wife.
Yeah.
You're using a wag bag wrong then.
Yeah, no. And you have a very small wife. But yeah, so they quizzed me the other day on hockey terms, and I only got one of them correct, which was chiclets. You know what a
Teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Spit and Chiclets podcast.
Yeah.
But there were other ones that I didn't know.
Yeah. No, that's...
Lettuce I got right too. Do you know what lettuce is?
Hair?
Yeah. See? We're a hockey podcast.
Yeah. I think that's just general cultural, like, vernacular.
They say it on like the broadcast. They say,
Oh, really?
look at that lettuce.
Oh.
I've heard it.
Go Canada.
Yeah.
5-star review. Gonna be much easier. Hi, Zach and Trance. I typed out a lot of shit, but in the end, I wanted to tell you how much I love your podcast. Thank you for doing what you do. Anonymous. Someone had to have signed off on that. I apologize if you included your name and that got chopped off at some point. Rachel. Fired.
Fired.
Super big thank you. Nope. Thank you to today's title sponsor, LMNT. Use our code, or not our code. Where's our URL? LMNT. Drinkelement.com/trek for a free sample pack with your order. Element's the shit. I drink
Yeah.
one every day, whether I'm on trail or not. When I'm on trail, I have probably 2 to 3, especially if I'm getting extra sweaty on a trail like the AT, where it's very humid.
Yeah, I'm packing for Florida tonight, and I have already thrown a handful of them into my toiletries bag because I just can't imagine not. At this point, I can't imagine not having them for a week, especially somewhere hot.
I do fear the day they stop sponsoring us because I am clinically addicted. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's anything that I'm more addicted to. Speaking sincerely, like a food item that you could subtract that would have a more detrimental effect on my life at this point because I am addicted. Regular water is very boring and stupid.
Well, I have had this thought, but I never wanted to vocalize it because I never wanted to give life to it. But like, what will we do?
I'm gonna have to try them because what I usually do for electrolytes is like I'll braid my hair and then you can suck all the sweat out of your
No.
braids.
Well, I heard that the eyebrow will hold approximately 1 teaspoon of sweat, so...
Mine will. I don't know about yours.
Zach just dies. What is that?
Yeah. I think I need some beer.
Same. Jeez.
But yeah, thank you to Element. Use our code so they'll keep sponsoring us so we can keep drinking it because we love it. Super big thank you to our Trek North Award winners on Patreon. That is Alex and Missy with Navigators Crafting, Alex Kindle, Andrew, Austin McDaniel, Brad and Blair from 13 Adventures, Brent Stenberg, Brian Alsop,
Fables.
Christopher Marshburn, Coach from Marion Outdoors, Derek Cook, Eric Casper,
Friendly ghost.
Eric Hoffman, Ethan Harwell Dunn, Jillian Daniels, Greg Knight, Greg Martin, Greg McDaniel, Griffin, hey, would you bring me a beer? Haley Buckingham,
Palace.
Madame, Patrick C. Cialo, Rebecca Brave, Sawyer Products, Spam, Timothy Hahn,
Solo.
and Tracy Trigger. That might have been the smoothest one we've ever done.
No, I thought that was really bad.
Really?
Didn't come out.
I mean,
It's
aside
like
from the
a
fronds,
it's like a front of the throat instead of a back of the. Anyway.
Since you've said phlegm, I have a fucking frog stuck in my throat, so thank you so much. Thank you to Polly from Old Man Murph's. Go get some delicious beans at ommcr.com. He's our guy. Follow us on social at Backpacker Radio on Instagram and TikTok. What's happening with TikTok? Is it just
I
status
still
quo?
can't log in.
We can't log in?
I can't log in.
Oh.
Elise is in.
You can't log into our account.
Yeah.
Do you still post on yours?
I rarely have ever. It's literally like I treat my TikTok the way I treated Instagram in 2012. It is because no one follows me there. So I'm like, cool, I can post like a video every 3 months of like Garrett with a funny filter on his face, not knowing that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
We're posting on TikTok.
Now that Elise is back, yeah.
Okay, sweet.
When
Nice.
Elise was gone, I just aborted that one. I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Elise is back. So, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Because she's not doing the AZT. So that's like a update, right?
That's an update.
Elise is staying with the team.
Yeah.
She's no longer forsaking us.
We love Elise. At Backpacker Pod on X, Facebook.com/Backpacker Radio. You can follow Chance.
You can find me on Instagram at Juliana_Chauncey. You can see my videos on YouTube at Juliana Chauncey. And you can get my book, Hiking from Home, a long-distance hiking guide for family and friends on Amazon.
Pyro, we forgot to plug your social media. Here's your chance.
Oh yeah, I'm Luco Tate on Instagram. You can follow me if you want. Sometimes I post things.
Sounds like I need to follow you. That sounds like a very high quality follow. Whether you're buried in mud or devolving into a vampire, sounds like a good time.
I'll find some mud on the CDT to get in.
I'm sure. Appalachian Trials and Pacific Crest Trials are my books. Both of us would be very appreciative for a review. Subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on YouTube.
Hi, Internet.
What's up, YouTube? That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and happy hiking.
Bye.